WINT Integrity Radio's football preview show. It's an exciting night here at the Happy Moose, so if you're out driving around, stop in. We've got 7 of our high schools, and that's 7 schools with the head coaches, coordinators, captains, and cheerleaders. And we've got a couple of special guests. Number 1 to my right is the News Herald guru of high school football, John Camp. John, welcome to the show.
Always glad to be here. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
And to his right, he's been with me for 11 of the 13 years, and that's my good buddy, Ray Malovic. Let's hear it for Ray Malovic.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, folks. Here, of course, and I like it when you say John Camp, guru of football, because usually in the past, when John's here, it's wrestling.
It's wrestling, yeah.
So now he's the guru of big sports.
He's doing both for quite some time, but you're exactly right. And what's really, really exciting, and I think I seen Coach Stuff just tell one of the parents about us being on not only 1330 AM, but we also are on 101.5 FM, and that's live on both. This is something really big at WINT to have an AM and FM. That's pretty cool.
That's tremendous. You guys have always been great ambassadors of local high school sports, and I know that everybody in the area appreciates that.
Well, we're really excited, and the third way is WINTradio.com. So come on out. If you can't, tune in. We've got a great night. We're going to kick it off with the South Rebel Cheerleaders. One more time at the end of the Rebel segment, and in his number 1 spot normally, Coach Tuff leading us off here tonight. Again, we have 7 schools, 6:30, it's the Rebels, 6:50, it's Lake Catholic, 7:10, East Lake North, 7:30, Minute Cardinals, 7:50, Euclid Panthers, 8:20, Mayfield Wildcats, and running it out is Coach Story and the BSJ Vikings. It gives me great pleasure to introduce a friend of the show, a friend of mine, and that's Coach Duff, South Rebels. Welcome to WINT's High School Football Preview Show.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Of course, we appreciate you having us. This is awesome, and a lot of people out here, and it's just exciting to start thinking about high school football again.
It certainly is. You know, school starts early, so WINT asked me, let's start earlier. It's fine. We're ready to go. John couldn't wait, and my good buddy Ray Malovic's here. Tell us a little bit about this year's team, Coach. I know you've graduated some of the line, but I know you've got some good ones too.
Yeah, you know, we have a lot of good kids coming back, and you know, we've had a great camp. Kids have worked extremely hard over the past several weeks. We pushed our summer camps back towards the end of July, so really these kids have been going for a month straight with about 5 or 6 days in there as a little bit of break. And but we've had 2 real solid scrimmages against 2 real good football programs, and you know, like anything else, we're just waiting for our current seniors to take the next step and the juniors to grow up a little bit, and hopefully see some of those young sophomores take the next step. And but they work hard. They respond to what we're trying to do, and we're real excited about them.
For you, it's the next man up, isn't it, for the South Rebels?
Well, you know, hey, football is a mentality sport. That's what it's about. And it's not always about your schemes. It's not always about the X and O's. And sometimes it's just about being tough, having the right mentality, and the kids buying in. And like you said, next man up, guy goes down, next man's got to go give everything they have. And as long as we can do that, we can be a real successful football team.
Coach, your staff has stayed with you for quite some time. Let's talk about them from the water boy on out. Go ahead.
Well, you know, I've been blessed with great staff over the years, and like you said, a lot of them have stayed a long time. We've got a couple new changeovers this year, but we have a great support staff. You know, from our trainer, Renee, she's fantastic. She's been with us a number of years now. She gets it. She works hard. We've got probably 15 or 16 young kids that are high school kids that are helping out with the training, so we have no short supply of water or care for our kids. It's second to none, in my opinion, when it comes to that. And you know, it just climbs the ladder, you know, from the training staff to our our manager of everything, Janet Pastor, who does so much for us, helping and organizing and whatnot. And then my staff's fantastic. I've got 13 guys, which is a lot of guys, but Coach Pavelko, and who's sitting to the left, and Coach Men to my right are my offensive line coaches, and special teams and offensive coordinator, Coach Lieben. Coaches my running backs, Coach Wade, who's been there just as long as my wide receivers coach. Coach Purse now is on year 5 or 6 with the D-line. Coach Ward with the D-line. He's over 10 years now with us. Eli Kovac, former captain of South, is my linebackers coach, been with us 3 years now. We got a new guy outside linebackers, Coach Peters, who's been an OC at Canfield and a DC down at Salem. Coach Tomba's new, my new defensive coordinator. He's new this year. He's a district guy, went to North High School, coached for the Rangers for a while. He's on board. And we got Coach Chinchar, who told me to say hello. I know he's from your neighborhood. And he's been there. And of course, our 2 freshman coaches, Coach Grandy and Coach Thornberry, have now been. This is year 3 and 4 for them. So we've had stability. We have good people, good football coaches, better people. And, very sound, secure structure, great administration, great district. So it's a good place to be, and it's a good place to be a football coach at.
Coach, you have a 3-year starter at quarterback. Can you just talk about having that type of experience? Michael Federico, he threw for, I think, more than 2,500 yards last year. That's really an unquestioned leader of this offense.
Yeah, there's no question. Michael's done a great job, not only, his last 2 years, but he's taken that step that you need a kid to take his senior year. We expect big things out of him. He knows that with that's a lot of hard work and staying within himself, but I've seen a lot of really good things throughout our camp and throughout our double sessions and our scrimmages. He's talent is talent. Talent is unlimited. His football brain is so much better right now than it was 2 years ago, and I can't wait to sit down with him and really go through a real game plan and get him ready to get us in and out of things to put our football team in great situations. And he's a good kid. He's a leader, really talented, and when you have that guy at the trigger man, you have a chance to do some great things. So he's going to keep getting pressed, and he expects a lot of himself, and he could be, sky's the limit for him.
The physical transformation that Devonair Conleth has gone through, he's got to be 15 pounds heavier. What is that going to do with him on the outside when people are maybe giving him a bump off the line or double teaming him with a safety over top? He's physically stronger to handle that stuff now.
Well, there's a reason that people at whatever, it's high school, college, or NFL level, you want that guy that makes everybody nervous out on the perimeter, and Devonair's that guy. He worked extremely hard from basketball season on. Like you said, his body has changed. He's bought in completely to the program. He works hard. He's a good kid, and we saw a little flash of that in our first scrimmage against Nordonia. What he's capable of on both sides of the ball. He's a good football player, so he's going to have to keep getting better like the rest of them and keep working hard, get himself in shape. We're going to need him on both sides of the football, but he's a kid that could be a game changer, no question about it.
How important is a good or a better start? I think last year you started 0-4, and previous year maybe 0-3.
Better than 0-4 would be pretty good for us right now. So, first time we were in that situation in many years, and I always like to say humility is good for the soul, and it's forced us to work a little bit harder, and we have a heck of a schedule: NDCL, Maple, Euclid. And then Mayfield. So we've got to be on our A game, and it's imperative that we get out properly. And I think the kids are starting to see that, our scrimmage schedule gets us ready for that, because we've seen 2 good teams, and we're going to see another one on Thursday. But it's imperative. It's a sense of urgency, and we got to find a way to be successful early.
I assume that you don't have to push that button very often. You've got competitors on this team. You probably don't have to push that button of 0-4.
I don't push it a whole lot, but they've heard me say it. When we don't see the things we think we need to see, then we'll let them know. They're a group of kids that can take it. They can take some constructive criticism. For the most part, they've worked extremely hard. Their bodies are a little bit beat up. It's been a rough road for 4 weeks, and we know that. There's a purpose behind it. There's a specific purpose behind it. We need to let them know that their expectations higher, and it's a mental game, it's a physical game, it's so many things, and we're trying to get them ready to go. But at the same time, every once in a while, you got to let them know. And they get it. They don't take it as, oh, we were part of this home 14. We're tired of hearing of. I don't think that. I think that they're ready to compete and they want to play and they want to win, and that's all you can ask for is for them to give every level or every ounce of everything they have. And if they can do that, then we can be successful.
Raymond?
Coach, a little early on, you said the camp. You opened up camp for the non-football mind around here. People think August 1st, start football, 3 weeks later play a game. Far from the truth. When your last game ended last year, you had, a couple weeks no contact?
State gives us 30 days we're off, yes.
Okay, and then what began then?
Well, we started in January, or December actually, I can't remember the date, but we were 3 days a week, lift and conditioning, all January, February, and half of March. March came, we went to 4 days a week. You start to add a little bit to it, but we're lifting, running 4 days a week all throughout March. Of course, the coaches are meeting extensively, breaking down film, staff meetings. The kids are 4 days a week, about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then once June hits, we're 4 days a week, and we're 7 o'clock a.m. till 9:30, 10 o'clock, all of June. 4 days a week, added on to stuff past that, film and that type of thing. And then what we changed this year as July comes, again, it's 4 days a week, but we decided to put our 10 days the state gives us. We packed it into, we actually missed 1 day because of weather, I believe. But we had 9 practices, 9 3.5-hour practices in 10 days. Gave them about 4 or 5 days off that last week of June, and then started hitting it for doubles in August.
Oh, for those who didn't know that, they know it now.
All right, let's talk to your assistant coaches, and you can introduce the first one right here to you.
First guy to my right, he's a former South Rebel for us, captain on our football team back in 2005, and great guy, great young kid, and understands the game. He's our special teams coordinator, and that's Coach Men.
Kyle, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
And like we said, off the air, we go back a long way. You were scorekeeping at Browning when I was refereeing back, maybe when Duff was still in high school. That's how long ago that was.
That was a while ago.
They had just built Browning.
Yeah, they might have just built Browning. I think they're going to call it Malta's facility. But anyways, Kyle, it's just great to see you come up. I was going to say, I don't know who bleeds the colors more than you. Maybe George Ward. I mean, he's been there too. Yeah. But it's been great. And Kyle, it's great to see you with the program. And just, like I said, you bleed the colors. You got to love it.
Yeah, I love being back. When I got out of college, Coach Duffy and Coach Fox, who was here, reached out to me about coming back. And that was 7 years ago now, and I haven't looked back. I've been part of the program. I love being here. I love being with the kids and giving back to a school and a community that gave so much to me.
And are you on the offensive line coaching the big boys up front?
Yeah, I do the offensive line with Coach Pavalco, and then I'm the special teams coordinator.
And give us one special teams guy that we're going to really want to watch this year.
Conliff back here. Devonair Conliff. He'll be great on kick return. Hoping he makes a lot of big plays, scores a lot of touchdowns for us on kick return. All
right, you want to pass it over to Scotty? Scotty, welcome to the show. It's always good to see you.
Hi, Charlie. Thank you. It's a pleasure being here. Thanks for having me.
And you also offensive coordinator still?
Yes.
Okay. We know the big guy behind the center, and that's Federico. I've got to see him grow up, being his mailman for years. Tell us a little bit about the backfield. Some of the names we don't know, because in the past we've known everybody in your backfield.
Yeah, we got a junior that's going to step up for us at tailback. His name's Tyler Henderson. He could be pretty good there. We also have a senior, kind of new to the team. His name's Wayne Monroe. He'll play a little receiver, might play a little tailback for us as well. Dakota Meinhardt's been a staple here for the last couple of years as well. He'll be on the field offensively for us too. And a sophomore that we look good big things for is Nick Romano as well. Could help us down the road there too, a receiver, and maybe a little bit in the backfield as well too. So.
Okay, and tight end this year?
Not so much as a tight end, probably more of a 4 or 5 wide receiver spread kind of thing.
Okay. And a couple more wide receivers than we might hear about?
There's a junior and Jared Newsom that could help us down there too. He's going to be pretty big on our defensive side of the ball too as well. So that's probably about 5 or 6 of them there. So.
Well, I appreciate that. And you want to introduce this next guy, Coach?
Coach Tamba. This is Coach Tamba, Eastlake North graduate. Spent, I think, 6 or 7 years on Coach Burich's staff over there, and did a great job. And then I think a year or 2 with Coach Gibbons at Beechwood, and we've been real lucky to have him. He's fantastic. gets the game of football. He's been a great addition, teaches over at Willoughby Middle School, so he's been with us, and we look forward to a lot of years and keep building and keep getting better and becoming a better defense like we want to be on any part of the ball as we move forward.
Nick, it's always good to see you. Tell us a little bit about your defense and some of the players we're going to see this year. Make some of the bigger plays.
Defensively, we're running a 3-4, but we also multiple front, so we'll get into a 30 front, 40 front, 50, got a bare front, 60 coverages, run them all from 3 to 4 to cover 1, 0. Defensively, some of the seniors, Debonair is a guy that'll, heard a lot about him. Other seniors, we got Jake Shepler playing on the defensive line, Slaughter, and Brian Sufka, senior, that's going to really help us out at corner, and Wayne is playing safety too, so have a lot of guys there that are hungry, ready to come on out, tackle, run, hustle, tackle people.
Ray talks about the rivalry being the number one rival in the state of Ohio. It beats Pittsburgh, Browns, Michigan, Ohio State. And you see a lot of what you do, Nick. A lot of the coaches went to North, coach at South. Aaron Erder, same way, went to North, coach at South. But you see a lot of that at North, and it's all about the community. It's a great community. Talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. It was something when Coach Men actually came up to me first and just brought it up. He said, "Coach, hey, are you going back to Orange? You're going to coach somewhere else?" And I was kind of like, "Yeah, Orange is fine. I'm fine there. I'm happy there." Why? And he just said, "Well, we're always looking for someone else to come on and help out." And at first, I kind of laughed it off, Tomba going to South. I'm a Northlake graduate, coach, there. I'm like, no way, So Kyle kept on bringing it up, and then finally I got a call from Coach Duffy, and then me and him just began to talk it out, and a month probably passed, and then all of a sudden I traded it in, and now I'm here, ready to win and rebel on.
There you go. All right, want to pass that to Debonair, and I'll let Coach introduce the kids. And this is get it, scoot in here. And who do we have first on the mic? And we'll let you interview the kids because you might have seen them play.
Yeah, this is Debonair Conliff. Started for us last year in the back end on the defense, and also as an ex-receiver. We expect big things from him. He's going to be a senior this year. Debonair Conliff. His limit is how hard he's willing to work. If he works hard, it's limitless for him.
Before John gets to one thing, is he got bigger, John?
Oh, he did. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I saw him at camp, early on in camp, and he just looks different. He looks like he's almost like a college-built type of guy now. Can you talk about your dedication in the weight room and the importance in your mind of being a more of a physical presence this year for your football team?
Yeah, first, Coach Kovac, Coach Thorne, they just stayed on all the players in the weight room, get a good lift in, no messing around in there, and hit the weights. And I like to try to get bigger because got corners out here that's 6'1" or 6'2", and that's big and physical. I got to be able to get off of them.
There's got to be a little motivation, too, because a big year might mean a college scholarship, no?
Yeah, it has to be a big year. Yeah, I got to.
All right, next, want to pass that?
Next, we have James Kendall, who's also a senior. This young man is a really good football player, started for us last year on the offensive and defensive line. We expect him to be a two-way guy. We found out today at our first day teachers meeting he's also a very well-versed dancer and singer as well. He's a big part of the drama club at South, and he's a pretty talented kid and a wonderful kid and plays football the right way, so we expect big things from him.
You graduated a very good line last year. You're one of the only holdovers here. How important is it for you to be a leader in the trenches with other guys that might not be as experienced as yourself?
I mean, we're a young line now, but we have to start off by, getting the emotion going, get the bonding going again before we can start making moves on people.
Tremendous skill that you have around you here in the backfield. What's your thoughts on, if you guys do your job, this could be a pretty fun offense?
Yeah. So we just got to do our job up front. We're not a big line, so we got to build muscle in the weight room, like Debonair said. So lifting high sets, low reps to get some muscle going, stun crowds.
You know, Coach said something about your dance, and it intrigues me a lot because we have the huge cheerleading challenge September 26th. And I always like to add something, okay? Last year, 1,100 people showed up for that. I would love for you to do a little skit of some sort. Think about it. Don't tell me yes or no now, but I'll get to you a couple of weeks prior. I would love that. That would be awesome.
If you want, just let me know and let the coach know.
I will. I'll talk to Coach about it. Okay, that would be fantastic. All right, next is the big guy.
Next up, Mike Federico. As you know, he'll be a 3-year starter this year, quarterback for us. Kid who's worked extremely hard in the weight room, in the film room over the past several years, and like anything else, I can't wait to get into his brain and get together a game plan and let him do what he does best, which is throw the football and make great decisions.
Michael, how good was last year for you to come and have a year like that, just to get some momentum? I mean, you played well as a sophomore, but last year was your big coming out party, like 2,500 yards, 30 touchdowns. How big was that for you?
Oh, it's really big. It really just gained my confidence coming into this season. We got a lot of great guys coming in, a lot of weapons, and if everything goes well, I think we can really make some good plays this year, get lots of wins.
Your mindset as a leader, talk about that. You came in as a sophomore, and you were the young guy who was basically around a bunch of upperclassmen. Now the roles reversed. You're the senior statesman. Talk about your leadership role, what you want to be to this team.
Just in and out of the huddle, in and out of practice. Just every day I got to pick up my guys, whether they're down or up. Just cheer them on, cheer them on.
All right, next up, last but not least.
Next up, we have Jake Scheffler, another tough kid. I think if you had anything to say, first thing that come to you is he's a tough kid and throwback guy that I love to coach. I know the coaches love to coach because he's all about business, wants to play hard, and played a ton for us last year. He's another guy we expect to be a two-way guy. Right now he's playing right tackle for us and defensive end, and I think he's a guy that if he can continue to do what he does, he'll kind of run off on other people because there's a certain way to play this game, and he plays it that way, and it's fun to watch him do it.
0-4 starts and not competing for conference champion. That doesn't happen in South. Talk about the motivation to really turn things back around where it should be.
Well, I think week 1 against NDCL, you're going to see a much more physical South Rebel team on both sides of the ball. Promise you we're not going to go 0-4 this year. We're going out every day. We're working hard, and, we came off a rough scrimmage, and, I think, you never want to get beat bad in a scrimmage, but, I think one time before week 1, you got to get beat bad. Like Coach says, a little humble pie, he called it. I never heard that one before, but I like the way it sounded. And, since January, since we started, the only thing that's been on our minds is NDCL. And I think the past 2 years, I think we were a better team than them, but we couldn't come out with a dub. And it's not going to happen this year. We're going to come out much more physical on both sides of the ball.
Well, Coach, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Great luck this year, and we'll be seeing you at a lot of games. You know that.
Thanks.
Let's
hear
it for the Rebels. One more time, girls. One more time. The girls are going to cheer. Thanks a lot, girls. Really, really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Good to see you. Next up,
Let's see you, Scott.
Next up on our show, this is Charlie Malta, John Kent, and my good buddy Ray Malavic is a Lake Catholic Cougars. Hit it, girls! Go, girls!
We are the Cougars. Shout it out, stomp it out, shout it out. We are the Cougars. We are the Cougars. Shout it out, stomp it out, shout it out. We are the Cougars. We are the Cougars.
That's a good start. We'll hear for him one more time. I know Coach Scott O'Donnell's out there. Bring us the coaches and players up. What a great first start. I mean, wow.
Tremendous. I really expect South to come out and play well this year. That's a hit to their pride. They don't expect to go 0-4 and not contend for the first WRC. They will be a factor this year. There's no doubt in my mind.
There is no question. And here comes Scott O'Donnell and his troops. And what a coaching staff, too, there that he has.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. Adding Larry Nossi to the staff this year. Big physical team. I went to their practice, and they're just physically intimidating
Coaches
this year.
sit, and then the guys behind them. And Coach O'Donnell will go on the headset. Coach Nossi over here, please. And it's great to see the Cougars. And our good friend, flip it, yeah, Scott O'Donnell. Scott, welcome to the show. Welcome to WINT's High School Football Preview. And it's always good to see you.
Thanks for having us.
We appreciate it.
Pleasure to be here.
And there's Tommy. Tell us a little bit about how things are going so far, scrimmage-wise. What you seeing?
Yeah, we're excited. First scrimmage we went against Perry. Had a nice scrimmage. They're good. Coach Rosati does a great job over there. And we had a good scrimmage. We got after them a little bit, scored a couple times, and defensively we did well. And then Strongsville came out the other day, and it was a good scrimmage. We gave up a couple of deep ones, and you know, we'll get better at that. And offensively, we moved up and down the field, so we're happy with that. So it was a success.
Your coaching staff, so who's who? You added Coach Nossi, which is a great add. I mean, I asked, we started with Duffy, I asked him to name them. I would like for you to name them because I want people that are out there listening to know. We know, but a lot of people don't. It's a who's who, maybe the best coaching staff in the state of Ohio.
Well, I would say that. And it's a pleasure to coach with these guys and have these guys on staff. The two that are sitting to my right, Tom Givens, he's our defensive coordinator. Second year being at Lake Catholic High School, back at Lake Catholic High School, I should say. Larry Nossi sitting next to me is our offensive line coach. Our offensive coordinator, Rick Lytle, Cougar, he's back with us. He's doing our offense. John Givens, Tom's dad, is with us, a legend, and coached me, and I coached under him, and now he's with us. So it's a pleasure to have him on staff. Mike Rizzola, our defensive line coach.
Good friend of mine.
Great defensive line coach, does a great job with our defense with Coach Givens. Mark Martinez does our wide receivers, does a great job with our wide receivers. Chuck Grevins, been around forever. Chuck's a staple of the program. Yes, he's still around. He does a great job through thick and thin. He's been through all three of the Cougar state titles, and he's back. He does our secondary. I'm good.
All right.
I'm good. Test me right off the bat, Charlie.
That's all right. That's all right. Well, we're at the top of the hour. Before I let Johnny and Ray get to you, we're going to have a short break. Stick with us right here. This is WINT's High School Football Preview. I am Charlie Malta, John Camp from the News Herald, and my co-host, Ray Malavic. And he's with us here tonight. We're at the Happy Moose. We'll be right back after this short break. Football preview show. And again, I was so excited to tell you in the beginning of this show, we're not only 1330 AM anymore, it's 101.5 FM. So we got them both, plus WINTradio.com. Coach, I know my big guy right here, he's seen you play some scrimmages. John, what do you got for Coach O'Donnell?
Coach, I did get to see you at your practices and stuff. The thing that impressed me the most, and I know you're going to be a varied offense and everything, can you talk about the possibility of lining up and running some stack I with these big, strong running backs and this big line that you've got?
It's part of what our strength's going to be. We have some guys up front that are pretty big, and they're doing a nice job coming along. They're really starting to gel together up front and coming together as a group, and Coach Nossi's doing a great job with those guys, and still got a ways to go. We're getting there, but they're doing a nice job, and there's some horses back in the backfield, you know, and we're going to use those in different ways. Sometimes we'll be spread, sometimes we can have a couple of guys back there, maybe just one of them back there, so it should make us tough to defend.
You talk about a couple of those horses. You brought a couple of them with you tonight. See Hunter's here and Josh. A lot of experience. I think both of them have played since they were sophomores, maybe even started since they were sophomores. What does that experience in the backfield mean to you?
Huge. I always talk about that all the time. There's no trade for game experience. And no matter what you do, playing the game and playing against the opponents that we play against and gaining that experience, gives them the opportunity to give to those other guys and talk to those other guys about what it's like. And that's an important facet for a lot of these guys. You know, some of these guys aren't going to be those guys who played in 30 games already or 20 games already. So that's a great opportunity for them to show and talk and lead those other guys on our football team, especially some of the younger guys.
I always tell Sam, you guys dropped Massillon and you scheduled the state champ, St. Vincent St. Mary, 2 years ago. I said, schedule the Little Sisters of the Poor, for crying out loud. 10 out of 10 teams go to the playoffs. But he says, forget about it, Charlie. That's the Cougar way, I guess, right?
Yeah, the schedule changed a little bit this year, and it's still tough. We're going to play a schedule that's going to get us ready. With our conference and with the out of conference schedule, that's going to get us ready for the playoffs. That's what we are. We haven't been there in a couple years, and that's what it's back. Our motto this year: no words needed. We don't even need to talk about it. We know what the expectations are, and these guys know what the expectations are. No, it's just about getting it done. So we're excited about our schedule. We're excited about the way it sets up for us, and the only one they're worried about is Toledo St. John. It's going to be a heck of a game. They got a heck of a football team, and we got our work cut out for us playing against them.
Raymond?
Coach, you mentioned earlier about your scrimmages. One, you said you got beat a couple of deep passes, and immediately you said, well, we're going to work on that. That's really the purpose of scrimmages, isn't it? I mean, not that they're going to bump heads like they do all weekend. They hit someone else. But it's to fine-tune, getting ready for that opener.
Absolutely, and I think a knee-jerk reaction, and we talked about it with the coaches today and with these guys, when you first come out of a scrimmage and something like that happens, you tend to make some reactions. After sitting back and look at the film, there was quite a few positives, and I mentioned that to the guys and to our coaches today, and we're excited about that. We're excited about where they're going to come, and absolutely, I'd rather have that in the scrimmage than week 1 or week 5 or week 10, and that's important. Now we know what we have in front of us, and it's evaluation all the time, and we're going to continue to evaluate and get better.
And you will, you and your staff and the guys.
Absolutely.
All right, keep the headphones on because you're going to introduce your players. I'm going to talk to the two assistant coaches, and one I've known for quite a long time, and Tommy, defensive coordinator. Let's talk about your defense this year. Some of the names that our listeners at home or here on the radio and reading the paper.
It's a senior-laden group up front, and some very experienced at the linebackers position. Starting with up front, Anthony Amata is one of the top playmakers and one of the better linemen around as a defensive end. Over here we have Cal McNally. He'll also play both sides of the ball. He's a senior. Other returners, Hunter Williams has been a mainstay at linebacker for the last 3 years, and we think when he's healthy, he's as good as anyone around. And a big, strong boy over there. Brian Robinson also got to play considerably last year as a linebacker, moving from safety. On the outside, we have Ryan Borkey, who was our top playmaker in the 15 season.
That's a big.
I have something to say about that when Hunter plays his 10 games this year. But again, Ryan brings a tremendous presence off the edge for us in our 3-4 defense. On the back end, we have returning Darius Alston, who's also been this will be his 3rd year starting for the Cougars. So, again, those seniors are going to carry us. They were successful on the lower levels, very successful, and then they know what it's like. They're as Coach was mentioning, they're ready to go, very opportunistic and excited to get us back to where we belong.
Real quick, you mentioned Borkey, and we are a tip of a hat to Pepco and the Borkey family because they make Mondays with Malta Go has been being a sponsor for the last 11 years. So
we just sold gold cards, our cards, and Ryan was just sharing with the coaches that the Pepco family took care of all his cards. He didn't have to go door to door or anything like that, like the rest of us have to do.
Tommy,
he had it a little easier.
Tommy, real quick before you hand it to Larry, what's it like coaching with Dad? I mean, we all love him.
Oh, it's great. He, so much wisdom. He doesn't miss the obvious. Reminds Coach O'Donnell and myself all the time about the real things that we need to be covering. And this is his 50th year, so it's special in the fact that all of us get to, celebrate with him out there. And seems like it's one milestone after another lately with him. But 50 years, and having him and a Coach Rizzola, and the other guys that we have, Coach Grevins, it's special. But
thank you
for.
And that enthusiasm has not changed in any of those 50 years.
Larry, tell us a little bit about the line. It's always been a mainstay at Lake Catholic. some of the guys up front that were going to be that are unsung heroes, but they're big in the eyes of opening up those holes.
I don't know if there's so much unsung heroes. I tell these guys all the time that they're the most important position on the field.
Thank you.
I talk about it all the time. I told you about our scrimmage the other day. We go as they go. And, they have to have that type of mentality that they can't take plays off. And, they're working really hard right now. And I'm really excited. Left tackle right now. We got Eric Harper right now as a junior. That's coming in. It's done a great job for us. Big play, Ray Marinucci's next to him. Real big boy right now, junior next to him as well. The middle of our line is Carl Spinelli. He's our lone sophomore on the line. He's doing a fantastic job, getting better right now. Playing at right guard next to him is Anthony Amata. Like Coach talked already, he's a mainstay. He's our main catalyst right now on the line. And then playing next to him is going to be Carson's older brother, Cal McNally, is playing as a senior. He's at right tackle. So, it's something where we've gotten a lot better at camp so far this whole summer. And, things are starting to deliver. I thought we ran the ball real well against Strongsville, and that's got to be our strength. There's some big kids inside, and every day they need to get better and better. Whether it's watching film, Coach talked about today, the weight room, their footwork, and they're doing a good job.
Thanks, Larry. I really appreciate it. It's great to see you wearing the green and gray.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
All right, I want to pass that down, and Coach O'Donnell's going to introduce these guys, and then Coach, I say Coach, but John Camp, who is a coach in my book. All right, guys. Coaches, you didn't have to get up, but that's okay. All right, who we got first? Go ahead.
This is Hunter Williams. He is, and I'm going to start out with the position that he's not going to start out with first because he's a fullback for us and also a middle linebacker. Hunter Williams.
Hunter, I grew up with your dad. He's forbidden me from writing about an injury, but I'm going to talk about it. That's not broaching any sort of agreement. But a healthy year would just do wonders for you, wouldn't it?
A healthy year would be great for me. I mean, a healthy year going out with my friends would be great. Win games, have fun. That's what I want to do, go out with the year.
You were kind of like late Catholic in a microcosm. You love physical, knocking people on their butt. Could you talk about your strengths on the defense, especially just getting out there and tightening things up?
I like to hit people, like the guys before me, like Sullivan's. I'm friends with them, so they taught me that just go out there and beat up the guy in front of you. And I like to just hit people and make big hits.
It's kind of fun for a lead back and a fullback too, because you're the one who's paving the road. You're the road grader, aren't you?
Yeah, I like this. I like to get to strike people and get a sticker. That's what I like.
Well, the guy next to you here, we got Josh Corbin coming in. Parlaying what we just talked about, grading the road for you. Can you talk about what it's like running behind Hunter, because you know that he's going to open holes for you?
Yeah, it's real nice. Hunter's obviously big, and running behind him, not many people can see me because he's so much taller than I am, so it's going to be fun this year.
Do you look for contact, or when I see you run, you've got good speed, but it seems like you don't mind someone stepping in front of you if you just truck them.
Yeah, I love getting hit and hitting people, and I look for the hole, but if someone's in my way, I'm just going to go through them.
Talk about the motivation of this team to get to the playoffs. I know the road's tight because you're in the same conference as Hoban and Benedictine, but you guys don't back down from anyone.
We're just gonna need to play as a team, come together. We might not be the biggest, but we definitely will be the most physical.
Pass it on.
I was kidding with him just before about the cast. I said I never saw a cleaner cast. He just got it out today.
Did you have it done like half an hour ago?
Yeah, I did. Not supposed to tell anybody that, right?
It won't be that way tomorrow.
And this is?
This is Calvin McNally. He plays offensive line for us and also defensive line.
Well, I tell you what, you don't get away from football ever. You go home and you hear about it from Dad, huh? Can you talk about growing up in a football family? Your dad's the head coach over at Lake Erie College. Your brother's lining up next to the line. It's got to be fun.
It's exactly what it is. Football is my life. It's how we got bread on the tables ever since I was young, and it's been something that's been very important to me. It's in my blood. My grandpa was a football coach too, so it's just it's a family thing, and I guess I never get a break from it, but, I like it.
Really good running backs behind you. Could you talk about the pride that a lineman gets of just knocking people off the ball and opening holes?
Well, there's no better feeling knowing that if you take care of what you need to take care of and you open up the holes, we got good enough guys back here where they're going to make plays and we're going to score some points. So if we take care of our responsibilities, we can be very, very good and score. Hopefully, let's score a lot of points. That's what we're trying to do.
You got to be motivated, too, to play a lot of these. The preseason's good, but the NCL, gosh, Benedictine, Hoban, and, of course, no one has to mention the team that's got blue and gold, right?
Right. We're so excited for this season. We have a tough schedule, but to be the best, you got to beat the best. So we're excited for it, and we know. This is what we signed up for, and we're gonna take it by the horns, and we're gonna go. We're gonna go, and we're gonna do what Cougar football does.
Okay. Well, good luck to you this year.
Thank you.
Ryan Borky plays outside linebacker for us and is also a tight end for us.
I tell you what, Charlie, watch this kid on Friday nights or Saturdays whenever they play. Very active on defense. You play with a smile. Do you just really enjoy knocking people around?
Yeah, I do. And, a lot of people play and they have to get angry to play, but sometimes I'm just like normal and I play happy and I'm aggressive. I don't know how, but I get aggressive on the field, and I go and I try to make plays as best as I can.
I stopped your camp, and it had to be a 95-degree day, and you're running gassers, and you're smiling. Can you explain this?
I don't know. I guess I just have a good act to play football. I just want to get out there and do the best I can do and to help the team win. That's all I really could say about it.
You talk about the drive of wanting to get back to the playoffs. This team has put in a lot of dues, a lot of overtime to get to that. Talk about that drive.
We go through practices every day, and it is hot, it's humid, and we think to ourselves that we want to be the team that gets this school to the playoffs, and we want to win games, and we really want to show who we are. And even though, like Josh said, we're small, we play physical. We're a really physical team, and we just want to show people what we can actually do.
Well, Scotty, we appreciate you coming out. We got one. No, that's one that he doesn't want to speak right now. I gotta believe you're going to be. I was on this morning on the morning show, and they asked me playoff teams. I said Lake Catholic's got to be there this year. They would have been there at 4-6 last year if they should have beat Benedictine. I was there. And my feeling is they should have won that game, but it's going to happen this year. Best of luck.
Thanks.
For
Appreciate
being
it, Charlie.
here. Let's hear it for the Cougars. Wait, one more time, the Cougar cheerleaders.
Of course, these young ladies have won our
Coached by Teresa Hassel.
cheerleading challenge.
Let's hear it for the Cougars. Last year's Mondays with Malta cheerleading champion.
Second time, right, Charlie?
Yes. And that'll be September 26th. Thanks, guys. Next up, East Lake North, Sean Dodd.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. We get close to that cheerleading show.
I'll tell you what.
They should.
Right now, I saw the scrimmage the other day. The North is a very physical team. I really enjoyed watching North on the scrimmage the other day. Very physical team.
And here comes the Rangers, coached by Treese. Great! There's my guy. Coach, put the yellow ones on, and you're going to hear your cheerleaders first. Have your coaches and your guys behind you. And here they go, the Rangers from Malta!
This is our year! We are the Rangers, and we're ready to cheer! We're the orange, black, and white! Charlie, Malta, prepare to fight! Look to you, we wish you well! We wish the best from NHS!
Wow, how do you like that? You got a personalized cheer. How about
I got
that?
a person to cheer for. Teresa Gray Rocks. And you can catch that
champion of
September 26th at Mondays with Malta's Cheerleading Challenge. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce a dear friend of mine. We go back a long way, and it was even before you speed trained Charlie, because I refereed your flag football game.
Yeah, back in the day when I used to be fast. Tell these guys how good I was, Charlie. They don't believe me. They think I make it up.
He played both offense and defense.
Superstar.
And that's Coach Dodd, and it's a great pleasure to introduce him to our fans that are listening at home, and because these two guys to my right know him very well. Coach Dodd, welcome to the show. It's great to have you.
Thanks for having us. Excited to be here as always. You guys do a great job at the show, and very proud of our cheerleaders. They just did a great job.
Well, Coach, we're really, really excited about North and this upcoming year. I know when it started, what was it, 40, 50, then 60? How many did it finally end your maximum in the weight room?
Oh, boy. We get up to 90 guys in the summer. But in the winter and spring, we're about 60 consistently at 6 a.m. getting after it. I'm real proud of the effort and the commitment these guys have made. And it's starting to show. They all want to take their shirts off and get sleeves off real quick. So they're proud of the efforts, too.
Along with being best friends, I just followed you wherever you went like a shadow. And when the opportunity was there for you to possibly get North's job, I was a Pied Piper all the way down Stevens Boulevard. It's a hand in glove. You brought a lot of guys from North, and it's going to happen. There's only two teams that haven't made the playoffs in our area, and they both start with N. It's going to happen right here one of these years, and it's going to be sooner than the latter.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that 100%. I believe in what we're doing. I believe in these kids and in the community, and it's going to happen at some point.
Coach, a question for you. Back in the day when even John was in high school, East Lake North's boosters was #1 in the state of Ohio. You've got such a strong backing, parents, boosters. Touch a little bit about that.
Oh, it's tremendous. What our boosters are able to do and provide for our athletes, not just football, but all of our sports throughout East Lake North, it's incredible. We're very, very fortunate to have the boosters that we have and the support in the community and the parents, and everybody buys in. We don't lack for anything, and we're proud of that, and we appreciate that. We know what we have and what we have access to, and it all starts with our boosters.
Let's before I let John and Ray get you a little bit of the positives out of your scrimmages you've had so far.
One, we're healthy, so I think that's the first thing. That's the first thing we talk about after every scrimmage. We go right to our trainer and say, "Okay, is there a report? Is there anything we need to know?" And right now we're healthy, so that's the most important thing. I think the guys we've gotten a little bit better after each scrimmage, and that's positive. So we're starting to see progress being made. And I think after the last scrimmage, we became a good football team, but our guys know that good isn't good enough with the schedule we play, and in our conference, we have to be great, and that's what we're striving for and pushing for right now. So happy with where we're at, but not satisfied. The guys know we've got a lot of work to do.
Coach, talking to you after your scrimmage the other day, the thing I was most impressed with was the energy. This team is buying in, has bought in. They look like they're ready to make an impact. You talk about the mentality you're seeing every day with these guys.
Yeah, and that starts with these guys that are here with me today, our captains and our senior leadership. From day one when we came in as a new staff 2 springs ago, right away everybody has done what we've asked. And, I kind of feel a little bit of pressure on myself that these guys have done everything we've asked of them between weightlifting, community outreach programs, and practices and the sacrifices that they've made. And they're seeing the results physically in the weight room and on the weight charts and our lifting and that type of thing, and some of the results in some of these scrimmages, which are just fancy practices. But now we need to see some results on the field so these guys realize that all this hard work pays off. And I think that's going to happen sooner than later.
When I saw you guys last year, I would say probably 90% of the big plays that I saw being made were by Kenny Uzarovich and Zane Bonnell, and you don't have those now. There's got to be guys stepping up. Who are some of these names that we can look for?
I think it all starts up front. Our offensive line is big, they're strong, and they paved the way. And one of our captains here, Zach Mastriani, who's a 3-year starter. We also have Nick Dielman, who's another senior on that team, up front. Joe Ginter, who's our strongest guy. He's a young junior. He's only 15, but he's benching almost 350, squatting 350. His weight room numbers are ridiculous. And then, I'm forgetting who else is up front. Our center battle is still being fought right now between a couple different guys. So we're happy with the line, and Jake Tansky's really doing a nice job stepping in at the quarterback role. I like our receivers with Kenny Streb and Brandon Daly. Nate Rommel's done a nice job at tight end, and Chase Fuller at running back.
Numbers have got to help. You've got really good numbers up. You've got depth. You're going to 2 platoon this year and push tempo. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, we really pride ourselves in our conditioning. We think we're in just as good, if not better shape than anybody we're going to play. We do believe in 2 platoons, so we're not going to have anybody playing 2 ways. Some guys may play a little bit on each side, but they're predominantly going to be a one-way guy, and that's going to keep us fresh, and we're going to hang our hat on that. And we might be in some battles at halftime, third quarter, but we think we're going to be able to pull it out, wear teams down with our tempo, and also how physical we play. We're not going to shy away from playing physical, and I think those 2 things are going to help us wear teams down and win at the end.
You might have one of the best weapons that no one's ever heard of before with your kicker, because I think anything across midfield might be good.
Oh, absolutely. That kid, and then the best thing is I don't know anything about kicking, so I can't screw him up. Chris Bacuza, who played soccer at North when I was in school, does a great job and works with our kickers, and he a lot of pressure last year, week 1, on the road, the Browns game of the week, and knocks down a 47-yarder to win it with no time left. And that's the first time he's ever been in a game, and he came through with that. So, yeah, we have all the confidence in the world in Chris, and if it's within his range, which 50 to 55, we'll take a shot.
Raymond?
Well, Coach, first time I got to know you a little bit was when you were over at Gilmore. I filled in, announced a couple games. And the thing that impressed me the most, on the field, coaching, yeah, you're in control. You're the head coach, but you rely on your assistants a lot. And I think that's very important.
Absolutely. No, they'll be the first ones to laugh at you because what gets said on the headset stays on the headset on the sidelines. But I believe in our guys. John Yuha and I have been together at Euclid, at NDCL, and at Gilmore. And for some reason, he keeps following me, and I don't know what it is. And then Jason Bickle, our D coordinator, he took over the reins on defense this year. And I have all the faith and confidence in our coordinators, and they know that. And we butt heads a little bit, but we all are striving for the same results. And they're in charge of their positions and their side of the ball, and I believe in those guys.
Well, it certainly shows, and the kids know who's calling shots. Their position coach, head coach, you're all together.
Yep, absolutely. And I think the kids know that, and they understand it and appreciate it.
They do.
Sean, reintroduce the coach you brought here tonight.
To my left is John Yuha. He's our offensive coordinator and also coaches our offensive line. We were together for 9 years at Euclid and 4 years at NDCL, and then he was my OC at Gilmore for 4, and came with me over to East Lake North, and he's calling the shots, does a great job.
Great, John. Tell us a little bit about that defense, whose names we're going to hear, and it's pretty exciting being the head of that defense. That I know it's going to be really good this year.
I'm not the defensive guy, the offensive guy.
Oh, offense. Vice versa.
Yeah, offensively, we got some great guys. Our skill-wise, our receivers are really working hard. One thing we're taking pride in the summer is downfield blocking, and we really focused at this year in our practices, our camp days, of just getting downfield, staying on a block, and Brandon Daly's been stepping up. Kenny Strev's been stepping up. Nate Rummels, one of our tight end receivers. They're doing a really good job, and it showed Saturday at our scrimmage. It's one of the first times actually you can see our guys going downfield, staying downfield on our blocks. I'm just really proud of the way these guys handled everything on Saturday at our scrimmages.
And did Tansky just about step in? Because he did get to play a little bit last year, and he's just such an athlete.
Yeah, he played mostly JV, but everything we did JV-wise was our varsity, same type of plays, so he didn't miss a beat. Came in this summer. He worked hard all off-season. He really stepped up Saturday against, 3 good teams with Perry, Kirtland, and Harvey. And he stood in there, and our line did a great job giving him time to throw, so he made good decisions throwing the ball. While running the ball, he made great decisions when to hold the ball, pull, or give to the running back. He's really stepping up to be a pretty good player.
You followed Sean all the way to North High. A couple words about this guy that maybe, we don't know about.
Be nice now.
Yeah. Intense. Me and Sean knew each other for a very long time, so at practices and games, we'll butt heads, and he'll say something I don't like, or I'll say something he doesn't like, and if you don't know us, coaches kind of wonder, you guys really like each other? What's going on over there? And we're both competitive, so I want to do something one way, he wants to do it the other way, and we'll butt heads until one of us is right. And he always wants to say he wins, but sometimes I let him win just to keep the argument going on.
I love that answer. Thanks, John.
No problem.
Good job. I'm going to pass that down, and who else we have here? You have your other coach here? Oh, there's a Here's a guy come over from Gilmore.
How's it going?
Good to see you. Tell us what side of the ball you're on this year.
First, I'm going to start with one word about Coach Dodd, and that's impatient. He's very impatient. Got to get it right all the time.
Joe, it's good to see you. And,
good to see you.
What side of the ball you on?
Defensive side, D-line, also special teams.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about that defense, as much as you can, at least.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think the one thing we have is a lot of depth. We've got a lot of depth up front on the defensive line, strong linebacker core, a lot of returning guys, and we're just relentless. I think one of the things we preach is relentless effort, 11 guys to the football on every single play, and, you know, at the end of the film, if we don't see 10 or 11 guys in the film, we're getting on them to get them to get to the football.
Well, Joe, it's great to see you and being part of the North High Rangers this year, and I love it. I just love it to see you with that microphone and what I know you'll be teaching these kids, because we go back a long way.
Absolutely. It's good to be here.
All right, you want to pass it over here to one of the kids, and you're going to introduce the guys. Sean, go ahead.
Tyler Swearingen, 3-year starter and linebacker.
Go ahead, John.
Tyler, you're the leader of this defense. I mean, I think you were leading tackler last year. What type of pressure do you, not pressure, but pride do you put in your leadership of setting an example for the other 10 guys out on the field with you?
I put a lot of pride in that, you know, because I'm the only three-way starter on the varsity team, the varsity defense. So I try to lead and set a good example to show them how to get things done.
South, Mayfield, Kenston, Brush, Riverside, right down the line, Chardon. You got to stop the run in this league, don't you? Talk about stopping the run in the WRC.
It's definitely a challenge every week. You know, they got a lot of big offensive linemen, a lot of good backs, but we've been working really good, and in the scrimmages we shut down the run pretty well, and our defense is looking really good. The three up front are getting a lot of movement up there, throwing people aside and getting tackles and stuff, and making the linebackers' job a lot easier. And I think we're going to have a really good season.
Okay, who else you got with you here?
This is Joey Aveljic, my other linebacker.
Getting back to
fullback.
Mr. Swearingen, you know, I do a lot of announcing, doing all the North games, and if he wasn't a leading tackler, I mean, I must have said that name 1,000 times.
It is. It's like, I remember when
He's
I was
always around the ball.
When I was a freshman at Ohio State, Chris Spielman, boy, I'm dating myself now, was a senior, and it was like every play was tackled by Chris Spielman. And when you go to North game, it's tackled by Tyler Swearingen. So, I mean, yeah, you got a 90% chance of getting it right when you say that name.
Sometimes when I wasn't sure, I just used his name anyway.
Just hold up 1 second, John. I just want to tell Alan we're going to get through North before we go to our next school. Go ahead.
Okay, Joey, new school, but this is home, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Definitely home. All my home middle school, elementary school friends are all here. I'm feeling really at home now. Really nice.
You're playing for your godfather. You're playing for your dad. What are your thoughts on making it all happen in 1 year at Eastlake North?
That would mean the world. I feel like we have it, though. I feel like we have what it takes, and I feel like we have that team camaraderie, you know, just to, like, get it all together. We're a family here. That's what we break down with every single practice, after every single scrimmage. We're a family. And I feel like with that and our physicality and everything like that, it'll get us where we need to be.
Are you going to play running back and linebacker, or where are you playing?
Fullback and linebacker and long snapper.
Got to be kind of fun to run behind this line. I saw you guys in the scrimmage the other day, very aggressive on the line, getting bodies off the ball and moving downfield.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Okay. It's got to be fun being part of this offense as a running back. You guys are very physical on the line and driving the ball down the field. Talk about the physicality of this offense.
Physicality of the offense is great. Our offensive line, like Coach Dodd said, is ginormous, and they all lift a lot, especially after seeing them in the weight room this summer and in the fall. It's just great seeing that hole open up and just seeing you be able to run for 5-10 yards. It's just the physicality. They're pushing guys 5 yards downfield. We're going to really tire teams out this year with our tempo and our physicality. It's going to be a great year for our offense.
All right, next.
Chase Axelrod.
Want to say a little bit about introduce him?
Boy, when I grow up, I want to look like this guy. I think he's 6'3", 220, and just chiseled. Boy, he hit the gene pool lottery. He's a great kid working two sides of the ball for his defensive end, some tight end, a heck of a baseball player as well, and basketball. So he's a three-sport athlete, and he makes us better.
tight end, how important? This team is going to run the ball this year, but you got to get out and catch some passes, and I know you guys did that the other day in scrimmage. Talk about the ability to do both run and pass with Jake at quarterback.
Well, Jake's a dual threat, so if he sees a hole, he's going to take the run. But for a pass, we have so much time with our offensive line block and everything. The receivers are going to get open. It's going to be a good year.
The importance of establishing the run first. Can you talk about getting the run going first so that way a play-action pass all of a sudden everybody's open?
With the run, we're going to beat teams up with our physicality. We're a strong team, and it's just going to tire them out, and their passes are going to be wide open. We're have a good year.
All right, next. What do we got?
Hi.
Go ahead, Sean. Who's this?
Zach Mastrani, 3-year starter and a staple on the offensive line for us.
And his dad, a great police officer in the great city of Willock, Ohio.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
This line, you got good skill, you got big running backs, you've got a young quarterback. Talk about the importance of keeping everybody safe, of blocking. Talk about keeping everybody off the quarterback and the running backs.
I mean, we're working hard every day. The main focus is to get lower. That's probably our main goal as an offensive line, and to get a push, like 5 buttholes upfield. That's like a motto Coach U always got for us.
What are your thoughts about the WRC? I mean, you guys, the last couple of years, have not been in the upper echelon, but you've got to be excited about your opportunity to make some waves this year.
Yeah, we got some big boys up front, some younger kids. I know me and the right tackle, he's a senior as well. We're kind of leading the way for the younger kids to step up as well.
What does this team have to do goal-wise? What are your goals you guys can compete this year? What do you want to be?
I mean, there's always a goal to nobody touch our quarterback, getting to second level every play, not quitting until the whistle's blown. That's always the goal of an offensive lineman.
All right, next up.
Curtis Swearingen, working at some offensive line for us right now to fill in for some guys, and he's a staple on the defensive line. We move him in and out. We like his versatility at nose guard and defensive end.
Curtis, I like the way you guys really jammed the lineup the other day against Kirtland in the scrimmage. You talk about the importance of stopping the run in the WRC.
Well, every team we've seen that they got some big running backs. They got fast and physical. We got to be gap sound. We got to go to our gaps, hold our gaps, and if we do that, then it'll make it easy for linebackers like Tyler and Joey to stop the run and stop them.
How easy is it to buy into a system of Sean Dodd, someone who's been in the trenches at East Lake North before? Talk about having one of your own, leading you.
It's nice because not just Coach Dodd, we also got a bunch of other players, coaches that have been playing for North, and they know the community, and they know how much everything means to the football players, and trying to get every single Friday night a big community and a big party, everybody into the games and everyone having fun.
Great. Is that it? So we got one more. And this is?
How's it going, Alex Valletto?
Tell us a little bit about Alex.
Alex Valletto, he's about as tough as they get, this guy. He's playing middle linebacker. We also put him at nose, depending on what we're trying to do, and playing some fullback. He'll get a first time ever, which I can't believe that he's in the backfield with his younger brother, Chase Valletto. He's a tremendous wrestler, so I like him at nose. The defensive guys like him at linebacker, and he did a tremendous job for us.
Yeah, I'm all over the field. I'm ready to go hard this season and ready to get at it.
He's intense.
You know me, I'm a wrestling guy, so anytime you can get a wrestler in that middle of that defense making some stuff happen, how does that help? I mean, you're not going to be the biggest nose guard in the league, but can you talk about how wrestling has really helped you get that? You're with your balance.
Well, I mean, I have that wrestling background, so I have that leverage. If I have that, I can keep those big guys off me. I mean, they're going to be pushing on me, but I think I can handle it. Honestly, I'm smaller than them, but I think I can still do it. I really do.
You're relentless on the wrestling mat. I know that if you happen to get taken down, I mean, you don't handle that very well. You get kind of upset. Can you talk about your relentless mentality?
I'm just not going to stop, honestly. I'm just going to keep going, not going to stop.
Okay, why is everybody laughing?
I don't know, because I guess they know.
All right, I got one. All right, we're going to hear from the cheerleaders 1 second. I got one question from Willowick, and that is, we're going to add an 8th day in the city of Willowick, so you can go back to coaching speed and strength for all the 10, 11, or 12-year-olds add up, like you did for Charlie at Mannery, because that was simply awesome, Charlie. We love that. All right, let's hear it for the Rangers. Okay, girls, hit it. Go ahead, hit it.
Friday night football, the best team is here. East Lake North Rangers, this is our year. You think you can beat us? Try if you dare.
make sure you see Jay. We got a card for Ray. Thank you so much. Great job. All right, that is the Ranger Cheerleaders, and we are at the bottom of the hour. We are 13:30 a.m. and 101.5 FM, WINT. We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back to 13:30 a.m., 101.5 on the FM dial now. Triv, I bet you didn't even know we're on the FM dial now. 101.5. I know you listen in. And we are WINT Integrity Radio. We are at the Happy Moose, our home away from home. It's WINT Radio's high school football preview. And when my boss shows up, I'm really happy. Mary Beth Malta, let's hear it for all that she does. she hates to be behind the scenes. Triv, our wives, we couldn't be where we are without them.
No, without a doubt.
You got a good one, too. Triv, welcome to the show. Again, another season. It's just simply incredible. It's starting up. Wow, I can't wait.
That's good. You know, time flies. The kid's been working hard since January, so we're excited to get going.
All right, but guess what? We're kicking it off with the cheerleaders! And they are led by Kelly Berger. Out.
That's for it, you got it. Mentor's back for a fight. We're about to turn the whole world red and white. So you better listen up, cause we won't repeat. All you gotta do is get on your feet. Yell A-double-L-I-N. Cardinals are all in. A-double-L-I-N. Cardinals are all in. Now that you know, Mentor's where it's at. You know the name and won't forget. That's a fact. Cards.
Led by Kelly Berger 2 years ago. Mondays with Malta cheerleading champions. They're a good bunch. They'll be back at the end of the segment. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce Triv. Triv, how many years?
20.
20 be nice with the state championship. How do you like that?
Even better.
All right. Well, so far so good in the scrimmages. Tell us a little bit about them. I've read about them in the paper a little bit. You tell us what you feel.
Scrimmages went well so far. We had a four-way in the first one with Glenville and Kenston and Berea Mid-Park, and then played a half against Cleveland Heights and did well against all, been four of them. So, you know, we're happy with where we're at, but we got a long way to go.
Staff-wise, remain the same?
Everything's the same, except we added Coach Russ Jakes, used to be a Strongsville coach for a lot of years, so Russ is with us, and you know, it's nice to add him. He's been a good friend for a lot of years.
Tell me, what's it like to be retired, or can't you say you really are, because football is 24/7?
Well, it is, but it's certainly nice when I don't have to go to school, and I tell them, "Why don't you guys go back to school already?" So, you know, they get mad when I pick on them. They have to go back on Thursday, and I don't. So it's a good life.
Oh, great, John.
Coach, we talked a little bit the other day over there, and is electric is your offense is, and we'll talk about that in a second. Your defense, I know you've got pretty high aspirations for these guys, especially that front seven's pretty darn good.
Yeah, you know, I think I've said for a while now, this is a very good, solid team all around. You know, in all phases of the game, and we've found a kicker who's doing some really good things. So I think it's just a really good, solid football team, which makes it nice.
Big defensive line, but boy, you've got depth at linebacker. You said you could rotate 7-8 guys maybe in there.
We've got some depth all over. This is probably one of the deeper teams we've had, and I think we can do a lot of things with a lot of different people and in different situations. So it's a deep football team. I think we have like 98 kids out and another 53 freshmen. So we're in pretty good shape, and you know, it's just a matter of, you know, whoever's in there has got to play their best, and we got to go. Obviously, the schedule's tough, and you know, they got to get ready for it.
I know that it's just a scrimmage, but when Tadas Tadrinis can go out and throw 8 touchdown passes to 6 different receivers, my goodness, how in the world is the team supposed to cover that?
Well, who was the 7th who didn't catch one? That's the problem. Actually, we're really deep there. I think there's 7 of them who, I believe it is 7 in it, that rotate in and out. So, you know, we've got a lot of depth, and we can pull 1 or 2 over if they have to play on the other side of the ball and not be worn out. And so it's good depth. And, you know, I think I've said for a while, I don't know that there's one bona fide big-timer. but they're all 7 can play. So it's pretty nice to have that. And then you throw in, I think we've got 2 or 3 pretty good running backs that can mix in there a little bit. So we've got some depth and some things we can do in that situation.
How's the importance of getting that running game? I mean, I think you had Eddie Doherty followed by Alex Matthews, 2 Division I guys. But if you're going to run a spread offense, at some point you got to run the ball. Isaiah Gullick, some of these other guys. Can you talk about what?
You know, it's fun to watch Isaiah because he's put his time in. He's done well behind Alex all these years, and now it's his chance. And we're looking forward to giving him the ball. And he's a big, strong kid. I think Isaiah's probably 185 pounds or so, and he's deceiving. He's all of a sudden the next thing you know, he's outside. He runs well, and I think the thing he does probably better than Alex. I shouldn't say probably. The one thing he does better than Alex, he catches the ball well out of the backfield. So he gives you another weapon that Alex was good at it, but Alex was a little bit more in the box stuff, and now he's going to give us that. And then I think we got a couple of young kids who can spell him if he needs it a little bit along the way. So you've got to have that back, and I think we've got a pretty good one.
I had a nice conversation with Tatis the other day. Threw for almost 3,000 yards last year, but he didn't start playing quarterback until pretty late. He was a linebacker. I can't wrap my head around that.
That's what they told me. I can't quite imagine. I might have played him as a defensive end, but no, he's going to be really good. He's probably 6'4", 225, and he's got a great arm, and he's put the time into it, and he's studied it, and he spent the offseason with Coach Janiak preparing himself, and I think that when you go out and you watch it, that's paid off in what we're able to do, and just the level of what our offense can do and how far we can go with it now is because of his offseason efforts.
How motivated is this team? 4 losses don't happen in a mentor season very often. I'm sure these guys are pretty jacked up to go deep in the playoffs now.
Well, I'm sure I've reminded them probably about 100 times about each game, haven't I not? And, no one likes that. But, I said going in, we were young last year. We were really young last year, and sometimes you got to do that. If you were going to get us, that was the year to do it. And, I'd be honest with you, and I think I've told them quite a few times, we weren't far from being 9-1. I mean, we lost 2 games on the last drive of the game with no time. So we weren't far from being there. And, at that point, we probably could have been, 12 or 13 wins, even with the young team. But, we're excited, and they got a little chip on their shoulder, and I'll keep that chip there for them a little bit, too.
Coach, 2 things real quick. You mentioned your depth, one of the deepest teams you've had.
Yep.
And especially receivers and what have you. It's got to be, I mean, let's face it, not too many defenses have guys in and out. They're pretty much in there from the opening quarter to the end. You have that much depth, especially in the opening 3-4 weeks when it's going to be hot, humid. That's got to be a big advantage.
Oh, it's huge. And, I think we've got 5 or 6 defensive linemen, and we've got 4 or 5 linebackers, and we've got probably, Michael, 7 or 8 DBs who can come in. And then and it's the same way on the offensive side. It's not often we have that kind of depth, and it's, you're going to need it. If you want to play along, you got to have it.
And the other thing, Coach, I called, excuse me, a lot of your games, enjoyed every one of them. 3 things come to mind. Professionalism. Look at the way these guys look. I mean, that's
you notice they didn't call me and tell me what shirt to wear.
That's okay. You're the coach.
They look sharp.
No, I really mean that. And that's not a knock on the other schools.
No.
You have a wonderful booster club. The Red Line is still there, called that.
Absolutely.
And you do it right. That's all I can say. Professionalism, and you do it right. And it's always been my pleasure to call a Minter game because I know my pencil's going to run out with all the points. So do it again.
And we've had some interesting ones over the years, and thank you for being there with us.
Thank you.
All right, Coach, why don't we'll start here. You introduce the player, and John's going to interview him.
Mind me introducing? Yeah. This is one of our captains, Ryan Bischoff. He is our middle linebacker, 2-year starter for us.
John?
Brian, you've got a lot of experience. This linebacking crew is very deep. But that line in front of you, boy, they're big and they're active. What's their role to really free you guys up to make some plays and just run and get after people?
Basically, I think they just open up holes for the linebackers to make plays. and they just pretty much set everything up for the defense. Just help us make plays.
This offense scores so many points, but there's got to be some defensive pride that you guys can shut some people down too. There's got to be some this offense scores a lot of points, but there's got to be a lot of defensive pride that you guys can create some turnovers and give the ball back to that fun offense.
Oh, for sure. Especially since we have a lot of returning starters, we should we should score some points too. Just help out the offense and just be a much better defense than we were last year.
What type of pride goes into takeaways? I mean, especially when you can take one to the house.
Pretty much a lot. Like, it's just like, I don't know, it just shows what kind of defense we are. Like, we want to attack, be aggressive throughout the whole season. Just how we want to set the stone this season.
Next, and we'll let Coach introduce him on that. That's
Next
easier for
is
everybody.
a 3-year starter coming up for us, Michael Ballantyne, one of our safeties.
You're like Mr. Big Play. I think I remember seeing you always coming up and I think on special teams, on a little bit of everything. Do you just have a nose for the ball, Michael?
Yeah, I just when I go out there, I try to, my teammates, of course, the front seven, do a great job of getting to the quarterback and forcing pressure and getting to his head, and sets me up to make plays out there.
How much has time flown? It seems like a couple years ago I was typing in somebody's name as a sophomore. You don't see a sophomore start very often at Mentor, and you did. So has time flown now, and what's it like to be a senior leader on this team?
Yeah, it's crazy. He came in sophomore, started, and played with some great guys then, and it just seems like I'm a captain now. It's just like, wow, like goes by like that, and just enjoy the time.
The goals this year, obviously, you got December 7th circled. You want to play in that final game. Talk about the drive for a state championship.
I think we have a very strong drive as a team, actually, this year. We play together, play very well, and even on and off the field, we're always talking about, like, let's go get that state championship. And if you look at any of our social medias or anything, we're always tweeting about it and talking about it, how we got to keep grinding, keep working hard. So,
very good. Next up, Coach.
Up next is senior captain, defensive end, Mark Gordon.
Hey, you know me, I just said this a couple minutes ago, I'm very partial to the wrestlers when you get them in the trenches. Mark, you're a state caliber wrestler and you're on the defensive front. How does wrestling really help you with that balance and getting after people?
Well, it helps because you go one-on-one in wrestling. Sometimes I go one-on-one with an offensive lineman, and a lot of the things you learn on the mat are the things you can use as a defensive lineman, so it helps a lot.
Defensive end, you got to get upfield and get after the quarterback. Talk about your role as a defensive end.
My role as a defensive end, I got to be able to stop the run. I got to be able to shoot gaps and obviously be able to rush passer really good, so I could do all those. So
you had some flat-out dudes on that line with you. Talk about who you've got lined up in that defense.
Who I got lined up? I got Kyle Olshafer. He's like a 300-pound nose tackle. He can stuff the run. He's also very quick, too, for his size. And we have Caleb. He's a new guy playing inside, but he's picked it up very good, and he knows exactly what he's doing. And then we have a guy over there, Nick Hardman. He's the other end. And we have a sophomore, Noah Potter, who's got really good size. And, everybody's doing their job, and we're working hard.
You had something coming, Coach?
Nope.
No. Okay.
All right, next up.
Well, we're going to let you get to the offensive side now. Our senior tight end, long snapper, captain Shane McClure.
Coach Trevisano, I got the first question for you on this one. When's the last time you had an integral tight end in your offense?
Probably you'd have to go back to 99 or 2000, right around there, when, I don't know if you remember, Alex Galansis was probably the last real tight end. You guys probably remember Alex played at Bowling Green and did that. It was probably the last, I think, the pure tight end we've had. So we got one this year. Short guy.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, what does it say when you tweak a Mentor offense, which you don't have to do very often with the talent you have, to get a tight end in there?
It's always nice. We've always tried it, but they've typically ended up on the defensive line. We're going to take care of that first. But now we've got a big, tall, 6'6" tight end who's got great hands and can do some things for us. So, it just opens different things run game-wise because we can get another hat in there, and a big guy can go catch the football also.
And you've got to like your chances of being 6'6", 6'7", whatever, going up against some sort of inside linebacker or a safety.
Definitely, yeah. It's a major advantage going over linebackers coming straight across the line. We do a lot of work with our run game where linebackers bite down. It's nice to have a little dump off over top.
Do you stay in there in the block too? Is it more of that type of personnel, or are you pretty much into the run?
No, I'm in the block and run game, pass game. I block and go out, so I'm all around.
I know your brother's a heck of a baseball player. Are you?
No, I don't play baseball, just football.
Outstanding. Next up.
We're going to go over to Caleb Rigachevsky, our senior defensive tackle, captain.
I love this kid, except when I have to type his name. And then I got to backspace a few times and check the roster to make sure I did it right.
Right. It's a long name. So.
Yeah, that's okay. You know what? Make people remember it, right?
Absolutely. That's the idea.
I know we just talked to Mr. Gordon about this. Can you talk about this this defensive front and how you guys can just get after people?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our job is to blow the offensive line back, and that's our plan every day. Out physical those 5 guys right in front of us, and that's what we try to do.
I know that you don't have certain games circled on your schedule, but I know that last year that trip to Cincinnati really left some bad taste in your guys' mouth. You talk about just wanting to play better against St. Xavier this year.
Absolutely. So when we went down to St. Xavier, we hadn't hit our stride yet in the season, and we're really looking forward to. I mean, we were young, we were inexperienced, and we're looking forward to have them come up to Menor and see how we play football, because I don't think that was a good representation of how we play.
Last year, this team, I mean, they always put points on the board. There's got to be some pride on this defensive side of the ball. Say, hey, you know what? Mentor's known for defense, too.
Absolutely. So the Menor defensive team has been, this year, probably one of the most complete that it has in the past, for the past long time. We have eight guys coming back. We graduated 3, and we have some young guys that can fill in the spots. And, we feel like we can be really good, really good.
Well, Coach, best of luck this year.
Thank you.
Let's talk just a little bit more about your quarterback, and it's tremendous spot for him. You said 6'4", how much? 210?
He's 220. Yeah, he's 220.
Is he a senior? Somebody asked me. He's a junior. I was right when somebody asked me today. I said, no, he's a junior. And, just in the line of the Tanskis. And I know you don't like to compare because you and I have talked before, but just about the same type of quarterback.
They've all been different. We've been blessed. You could go over the 20 years. We've had some great ones, and we've kind of always had one after another. And the nice part is we got 2 really good freshmen coming behind them. So we've got a good run of quarterbacks going, and I think they're now growing up in town and understand I want to be that guy. And he's just another one. He's different than the Mitches and some of them. He's a big, strong arm. Probably doesn't run as well, but he's also a lot bigger. I think Mitch was probably, maybe 190. He's 220, so he's a little bit different in what he can do. But he's got a great arm and great kid.
Great. Well, let's hear it from your cheerleaders. You're taking us to the top of the hour. Menor cheerleaders, coached by Kelly Berger. 2 years ago, Mondays with Malta cheerleading champions. Let's hear it. Hit it, girls.
Fans, let's hear it. Mentor, spirit. Our fans, let's hear it. Mentor, spirit. Our fans, let's hear it. Mentor, spirit. Our fans, let's hear it.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Always good to see you. Next up, Jeff Rotsky and Euclid. Thanks, Coach. Thanks, guys. We are WINT 1330 AM and 101.5 FM, WINT Integrity Radio's high school football preview show. We'll be right back after this short break. We are live at the Happy Moose, back with our high school football preview show. What a night. We already went through, an hour and a half, John? It's flying.
Oh, you know what? Like I say, time flies when you're having fun.
And we've got one more hour, and it gives us great pleasure to introduce, to me, one of my favorites, Coach Jeff Rotsky from Euclid. Welcome to the show, Jeff.
Thanks, guys. We're fired up to be here, and just always great to see the group, especially my main man here in the corner. Nothing against you guys, but he's my favorite. So,
like many of us,
feeling neutral, by the way.
With that voice, the list goes long. Cavs, Indians, Captains, Euclid, North, South.
He's the guy.
I can see why.
He is the guy, no doubt.
Jeff, this year's team, young, old, Mix, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, first off, last year's team created some incredible memories.
You made the playoffs. Awesome.
The team went further than any team in the history of Euclid, so we feel very blessed. I think a lot of people have written this off already this year. They graduated 15 scholarship guys, and first off, we don't believe in rebuilding. I think that's an easy way out. It's a cop-out. I love our kids. They've worked incredibly hard. We only have 6 starters back, but our young kids have worked very hard. We got a I think we have the best quarterback in the state of Ohio, but that's just maybe I'm a little biased. But like I said, our kids, we're probably at about 100, 105 grades 10 through 12, and we start school tomorrow, so I'm sure we'll have a few new ones. We had a big 6'2", 300-pound freshman come in today, so we like when those guys show up, of course. But I'm really proud. I mean, we were at the first scrimmage out at Mooney, and it's always physical, and it was very physical, and but we got a lot done at that, and our kids are working. I mean, I wouldn't trade my kids for nothing.
Jeff, your staff this year, has it changed at all?
Our defensive staff, yeah. I actually brought in an incredible new defensive coordinator. My former one just didn't have the time to put in, and so I went to the college ranks, and I got a young man who was a GA at Rutgers for Coach Ash. And wow. He is great. He brings a lot of energy and emotion to what we do.
More than you?
He's not far. He's not far. But Rocco does a great job, and we're really blessed to have him. I brought DeAndre Delk back, who played for me 5 years at Bowling Green. He's coaching our secondary, so it's always good when I can bring some of my past guys. Bam and Coach Dantes Sanders, they volunteer 1 day a week, and they're with us. And these guys get coached hard. I mean, they know. I mean, I'm not the nicest guy to play for, but at the end of the day, I think these guys understand that when you're playing in a big game and you beat you win the first playoff game at Euclid, and then you beat Westerville Central, who's number 2 ranked team in Columbus, and all that hard work came to fruition, and I think these kids are hungry for more.
Before I let these two guys at you, I know winning means a lot, but it means more to you that when you can get some of these kids scholarships that they may not have had. That's 15 scholarship guys last year. I mean, and maybe even more. That's got to be what makes you feel the best.
Well, I got to tell you, and John and I built a really good friendship too over the last year. We had 15 kids get off, and 30 of our 31 kids went to college.
There you go.
One didn't, but he could have, but he chose to serve his country in the Marine Corps. And God bless him for doing it. It was our kicker, and let me tell you, he was huge for us last year. We got a lot of really good players. We're not about that one kid who's going to be. I mean, even though I think we have kids we'll have Division I players on this group again, and we'll have Division II players. We got guys this guy's being recruited in the Ivy League. This guy's being recruited in the Ivy League right now. So to me, I've always believed this. They've bought in now. I mean, they have worked their tail off. This guy here, he showed up last year. I thought he was going to be like 19 string. Ended up being our starting wheel linebacker. He just is a baller. He just loves to play the game. But more importantly, these kids care about each other. And I believe that the way they loved each other, and once, I think the biggest key to our success last year, we were 2-2. We had lost to Menor, we had lost to Glen. We had 7 or 8 guys cramp out. There's no excuses. We had them on the ropes, both teams. I found out that too many people were putting ceilings on these kids outside of us, what they could achieve in their lives. And I told him, I said, once you guys stop putting any ceilings, if anybody tells you what you can't do or you can only do this, you got to just axe them out of your life for now, or tell him, hey, don't tell me that's something, because if he wants to be a doctor, he wants to be a lawyer, hell, I expect him to be a doctor or lawyer. And once they opened their hearts to that, we played Solon. And that was our comfort game. Then we ran the table, and, he got healthy, and we ran the table and just had an incredible run. I mean, it was probably in my 20 years the most fun I've ever had as a coach.
John?
Coach Rotsky, first of all, it's good seeing you. Only 6 starters back, but how good was it for these second-string guys who are stepping up now? They played against those seniors. That's how they tested their mettle and earned their stripes against those big guys, those seniors.
Well, no, Tom, here's a 3-year starter here. I mean, so he knows he's, captain. These 2 guys could have been. Mike will be coming back in a few weeks after he gets a little perceived, but he played behind Cornell last year at center. I mean, he learned everything. I mean, he's a linebacker as well. Jalen, in my opinion, he's one of the best defensive ends, linebackers, whatever. He's going to be one guy in a 3-4 scheme somewhere and just destroying people. I mean, in my opinion, so if you have a program, and I pray we do, there should be no down years. I mean, if it doesn't, blame the coach, because these kids have done every single thing I've asked them to do. And, we could line up 6'3", 280 across if we chose to, but we'll have a few other guys that, are going to work in. We think we have 10 or 12 offensive linemen they can play with. We'll play 10 or 12 defensive linemen. So young guy, and we had some kids, we're a transient community. Some kids have come in, and families, if they believe in what we're doing and helping kids, and they feel, hey, this is a great place for their kid, God bless them, let's go. We're going to help any kid that comes to Euclid.
How good is it? How good was last year for these boys? Because it's one thing to say, hey guys, if you follow what we say, you can be this. But when it does work out, boy, it's got to be an easy sell now.
Well, listen, the guys that I have here right now, I mean, I care so very deeply about these guys. What each one of these guys in some cases have gone through in their lives, each one has a story here, and I'm not going to get into each one of their stories, but I can tell you that they battled a lot of things, and just like today, I sent a text out within a minute and a half. I had 6 answers from my seniors. One of the elementary school coaches and teachers wanted kids to welcome the young kids. These kids don't start till tomorrow. A minute and a half, I had 6 guys. They only wanted 6. We had our kids. They're invested in our community. They understood that we work. There is no shortcut. I've told them, we can't just wave a magical wand and be successful. They work all our agilities. They'll tell you, we compete. It's like Urban Meyer. I mean, I believe in what Urban does. Every day and everything we do, there's a winner and a loser. And you know what? That's life. But if you turn up on top of if you're on the good side of most of that and you learn from when you lose, that's what makes young men of character. That's what makes champions.
And you said you don't put limits on these kids. That being said, not to put words in your mouth, but if you're going to shoot for the stars, man, you're shooting for week 15.
You know what I would shoot for? People ask, what's your goals? What's your prediction? Here's my goal. Every one of these young men go to school for as close to free as possible. Every one of these young men take care of their mom and their grandmother, whoever they live with, and their dad. Every one of these young men, you can tell a Euclid football player. If you walk in the building, their pants aren't going to be sagging. They're going to be sitting in the front of the class, and they are going to be young men of character. And if we do that, we'll let week 11, 12, and all that stuff work itself out. I'm not a prediction maker. I'm cautiously optimistic. We got a lot of young kids, but there'll be no excuses here. We expect to compete every week.
Raymond?
Well, Coach, I know I've said this before. I got to say it again. First time I met you, first time you started talking. Success in football, it's a no-brainer. You've always had it. But your drive, your focus is to get every young man that plays for you a better place in life. And you have done that. And what an example. Enthusiasm, forget it. You're number 1 in my book. But that point, you stressed, lawyer, doctor, whatever. Why not? Why not? But you instill that in them.
Let me tell you something. I'm not going to. There's a couple of these young men here that struggled. We're not doing great in school before we got here. Now, they're killing it. They're killing it. This guy right here doesn't even go to the high school. He takes almost every class in college. This guy here is a straight A student. But all these guys will qualify. All these guys will have those opportunities. And here's the thing. What I also tell these kids, Ray, is that they have younger siblings. They've got to be their mentors and role models. If they don't see them doing it, this is so much more than football. Listen, the football is the way we can connect and all that. It's great because we have a great time together. But at the end of the day, I got to know that when I send Noah Mitchell off, and his kid's if there's ever been a Division I quarterback, this kid's it. And he, in my opinion, can play anywhere. But he's got a younger sister who's a great athlete. He's leading the way. This kid takes honors, AP. God, I can't even read half the classes he takes. But I know I got to pray that by the time he's ready to come out, that we'll have instilled in him everything in my heart that I can't. And you know what? There's times he hasn't liked it. But ultimately they know that, I tell them, when we're yelling and screaming at you, it's not personal. If I was personal, we'd pull you off to the side. But this is the way we coach. We coach with that energy. And I look at some of these guys, and we had one young man, I'll just tell you quick, we had one young man who lost his father so late, and this was late after the season, and he has a 4-year-old younger brother, and he wasn't maybe going to go to school because he felt the obligation to take care of. I said, listen, first off, we started taking care, we all embraced this 4-year-old, and I love this little boy. He's the kindest little boy you've ever met. But I said, you're going to school, doggone it, because someday you might have to take care of this little boy. And you're not going to let anything else get in the way. You can take care of him. The young man's going to be going to a Division III school, turn down a Division II opportunity to go to a better school, got more money, and he's going to be a monster since he was one of our captains last year. And we won't let those things get in the way of our kids being successful. They all have stories, but each one of these have persevered, and I'm telling you that I have more fun with this group and I've loved all the kids I've coached, but this group, it's pretty cool.
Wow.
Let's play football.
There you go. All right, you're going to introduce, and John's going to interview them. So you introduce the first gentleman to your right.
Great story. Derek Sharpay, undersized but brilliant, tough linebacker. Started for us last year. So proud he got voted captain. We just announced him today. He's earned the respect of everybody. Just an incredible young man.
Okay.
Derek, can you tell me about that journey? Coach told us that you started off in what he said probably 19th string. What motivation, what made you turn this corner and turn into the player that he believed you could be?
Seeing how Euclid was before, and then when Coach Rossi came in and changed everything, it's like he motivated me to move up. There was people in front of me, but I wanted to be one of the starting varsity players too. Like it didn't come fast. It took a while. I was a JV player for a while, but then like after a while, I listened to what he said and followed what he said, and it worked.
How good was last year for this program? You guys share a conference championship, which doesn't happen very often there. You guys get that deep week, I think it was week 13 in the playoffs. How good was this for this team's morale to say, hey, you know what, Coach Rossi said we could get there, and guess what, we did?
When Coach Rossi came in, he changed a lot of stuff. And the Euclid before went 4-5, but when Coach Rossi came, they went 10-3. We went 10-3. Like the process was long, but it worked.
All right, next. This is
Mikey Byrne. Michael Byrne, center, linebacker, 4-point student. Brothers all played college football at Ohio Wesleyan? Heidelberg, I'm sorry. An incredible kid. Very. When we talk about humility being the backbone of character, you really don't need to talk for people to know how good you are. This is humility right here. Mikey Byrne.
Coach, first, before I ask him a question, how important is it to have a guy making the line calls who's that smart?
Oh, it's everything. I mean, and the guys behind him, we have a young Aaron. Remember Aaron Berry from last year?
Yeah. Right.
His younger brother, Sean, is kind of the backup with another young man, but they're all good students. But this guy's brilliant. I mean, this guy's really sharp.
Congratulations. Obviously, your family's very well rooted in football. Can you talk about the balance of academics and athletics? I mean, obviously, you're not going to go through life playing football forever. Talk about your balance and how important academics is.
Academics are very important to me because, school's not that hard. Like, if you just pay attention and stuff and do your work, you can get through school easily, and you can go anywhere you want. So if football doesn't work out for me, I'll still have school, which helped me out, and I get any job I want. So.
The bar was really set last year. The whole program was recalibrated for what Coach Rossi wanted to see. A playoff you got in the playoffs, you had a conference championship. Where's the bar this year? What are your guys' goals and dreams? What can this team be?
I believe we can go further than last year, and we can beat St. Ed's this time.
How much was that good for you last year to be in games that Euclid hasn't been in years?
It felt unreal at first. Like when I came out and I saw the field, like they redid the whole field and stuff, and I'd never seen that before, and I thought it was just cool.
All right, next, the very shy, the very quiet but brilliant defensive end like Jalen. By the way, he can't catch a cold. I mean, he could pick 6 hands. I mean, but talking about rushing the quarterback, talking about the playmaker, he is the playmaker on our defense. I mean, there's no doubt. This guy, you know, he's got a wingspan. I mean, he's worked so hard, and he's benching, squatting, cleaning. He is as important as any young man on this team. Jalen Nolden.
Jalen, can you talk about coming off the edge, getting after the quarterback? He said you can't catch, but if you can catch the quarterback, that's cool, right?
Right. That's like my favorite part of the defense, going on nickel, rushing the quarterback, going off the edge. That's probably my favorite. That's probably my favorite part of the defense, going off fast.
Some tremendous defenders graduated last year, also offensive players. What do you see your role as a leader on the team? Are you the player that you want teams to say, oh boy, we better block him?
All right. Yeah, I do, actually. I see myself as a leader on the team, on the defense, as a starter. Started last year, too. See myself trying to make sure younger guys look up to me, make sure I work as hard as I want them to make our team as better. Because what if I go down, they need to step up and be as good as me.
Coach brought up your academics. He says that you're going to school someplace else. I'm sure it's post-secondary stuff. Where are you going? What's your day like if you're going to take college classes already?
Well, I go to Lakeland up the street, so in the morning I go there. Monday and Wednesday I have to go from 8 to 10:45, and then I go to Euclid for the rest of the day for 5th, 6th, and 7th period, and then Tuesday and Thursday I only have one class at Lakeland, so I will have to be there from 9:30 to 10:45. And then again at Euclid from 5th, 6th, and 7th period, and then practice at the end of the day every day.
So when you enter college next year, like full-time college, you'll be what, a sophomore?
Yeah, I'll have just about probably more than halfway done with my associate's degree.
Great. That's something. Isn't that
That's
impressive?
fantastic.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, next up.
Noah Mitchell, the quarterback, the guy that I feel probably we've had some pretty good ones. We've had Anthony Wright Jr., we've had Bryce Jones, we've had Travis Kelce who's played, but this guy is the best. This guy is the smart. We had some smart, but this guy he sets protections, he reads coverages. He's put on 20 to 25 pounds in the offseason. We intravenously shot him up with peanut butter and jelly, to make sure that. But he's really worked. His foot speed, the whole 9 yards. This kid he's got some legit big-time Division I tools. So, we'll go as far as this young man takes us.
Noah, last year had to be a magical year for Euclid. It had to kind of rip your heart out a little because you missed a good hunk of it right there at the end with an injury. How much does that motivate you to come back this year healthy because you missed the end of that?
Motivates me a lot. I put in more work in the weight room to try to prevent these injuries, but I also think I grew a lot as a leader being out with the wrist injury, teaching the younger quarterbacks like Craig Robinson who play a slot, try to make him quarterback and teaching them how to get ready for the games.
How is that wrist now? I assume that there's no problems with it now that you guys are there.
No, perfectly fine.
Can you talk about the skill set that's around you? Who are some of the guys that you're going to be handing the ball to, throwing the ball to? It's nice to be a D1 quarterback, but you're kind of a distributor of the ball too.
Right. We got back Quan Pruitt, who just got voted captain today. He wasn't able to make it today. He's home sick. Then we got some guys transfer in. Looking very forward to this year.
Best of luck, Noah. Can't wait to watch you play. Next up, 3-year starter, John.
Last but not least, 3-year starter, probably one of the best linemen we've ever had. We'll play both sides, and we'll be one of the few guys to play on both sides of the ball. Not full-time because, he's still a little thick and chunky. We got to make sure he gets into good shape, but he's a great kid. When you talk about a young man that has made monumental strides in his life, and I'm really proud he got voted captain because he's quiet, and we're going to hopefully bring him out a little bit more now since he's voted captain. But Terrell Lee, guard, defensive tackle, and he can play anywhere you put him.
And a wrestler.
And a wrestler.
I'm telling you that you bring up the wrestlers, and I'm a fan
a wrestler.
of that.
That's right.
Terrell, I asked Mark Gordon this a little bit ago. How much does wrestling help? Goodness. You get there in the trenches, you've got that balance, that hand-to-hand, one-on-one combat that you see all winter.
I'm trying to get more.
Speak into them.
Let's have it here for a second. You can't touch the bottom.
See, Terrell, this is the things he does. These linemen, they get you, put him in.
Don't touch the bottom. That's all.
I'm trying to get more of the younger offensive defensive linemen to join wrestling because it helps you with one-on-one combat. Because wrestling, you're just out there by yourself. You have no teammates to help you.
Like Coach Rotsky said, there's some people that are counting you guys out already. You guys had a great senior class this year, said, they're going to take a step back. How much does that motivate you when someone says you can't do something?
It motivates me a lot because, they're counting us out because we lost a lot of seniors, but they just don't know how strong we're going to come back.
How much are you looking forward to week one? I know it's Glenville, no matter who it is, just for round 2, just to get back at it.
It's just to get back at week 1 because I had my father and his brother went to Glenville, and my brother transferred to Glenville, so it's a pretty good chance to get a good shot at them.
Okay, I got to know that. Euclid wins this year. Is everybody in the family getting Euclid T-shirts for Christmas?
Well, last year they only had bought Euclid T-shirts because they're supporting me more than their school. But yeah, I'm probably gonna get some more Euclid stuff.
There you go.
Well, Jeff, again, thanks for coming out, and your enthusiasm is infectious. Great job at Euclid. We'll be seeing you during the year, that's for sure.
Guys, I appreciate you having us. And listen, we're saying a special prayer for this guy here. You know, God bless you, brother. We're with you. We got your back.
Euclid
right, thanks,
Panthers.
guys.
Let's hear it, Jeff Rotsky. Thank you very, very much. And now we've got Mayfield, Ross Bandera, head coach. He'll walk up, and the cheerleaders are getting situated. Jay Batung, I need you to hold this while the cheerleaders, because they've got a special announcement. But after their cheer, Ross, you can come and sit down with your coach.
What's your name again? Alex is fine. Okay.
All right, Jay.
Is it Allie or Alex?
Alex. Hey, Alex.
Okay, that's what I said. All right, we're going to cheer, girls. Then Alex has a special announcement for us.
Ross,
all right, you
Ross,
ready, Mayfield?
Put the yellow one on.
Go. 1, 2, 3, 4. The time has come to wish you good luck. We greet you with spirit, so get ready. We're tough. Mayfield, Wildcats, where tradition still stands. Green and white, the best in the land. Relax, sit back, prepare for the show. You know who's the best. It's MHS.
Great job. All right, hold on.
Coached by
Alex, that's ALEX, has a special announcement to make.
So on September 22nd, which is our first game, or September 2nd, which is our first home game versus Massillon Jackson, the Mayfield varsity cheerleaders are doing an event called Team Up for St. Jude, in which all of the fundraiser or all the money is going to go towards St. Jude's Children's Hospital. And for you guys that don't know what St. Jude's is, it's a hospital in which families that attend there, they don't have to pay for their treatment, their stay, or their food, or their travel. So we're hoping that we can be the school in Northeast Ohio to raise the most money and pay and help families go to St. Jude's. So we're having a tailgate party, we're doing a silent auction, and then we'll be selling things through the week like t-shirts, handshakers, and little different fun things like that. And then for $10, we're also painting Power Cats on the end of the driveways for anyone that wants them. So if you're not, September 2nd, 2016, and it's at Mayfield Wildcat Stadium. So if you're not doing anything, come support the Wildcats in St. Jude. Thank you.
Hold it, Jay.
Hold on.
I want Alex to come forward. Come here, Alex. I'd like to be the first one to give you guys $50 toward the event. On behalf of my wife and I, you're very welcome. Thank you for being here tonight. Coached by Christy Palmieri, we really appreciate it. Thank you, Christy.
Alex, isn't that exciting? That was my paycheck. Go ahead. Here.
All right, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce a longtime friend, now head coach, and really, really excited, Ross Bandera, head coach of the Wildcats. Way to go, Ross.
Thank you, Charlie.
Ross, we go back a long way. Our good buddy Larry Pinto, he's on your staff. What a great hire.
Oh, thank you. I had no choice. No, I'm just kidding. I would have not wanted it any other way.
How exciting for you to be the head man now?
Sure, definitely. We're very excited. We've got a great group of seniors, great group of captains that lead us every day, and it's just a blessing for me to be part of this great community and program.
Ross, you made it to regional finals last year, and a tough loss, but a great year. Tell us a little bit, how are things going scrimmage-wise? Are you happy, or we got some improvement?
We're healthy.
There you go.
That's key. So, we've been sitting out some guys that are already proven and that, have been just kind of, we didn't want to, take any chance with, like, Michael Kings. If he carries the ball X amount of times in a scrimmage, he's got X amount more chance of getting unhealthy, so we didn't want to take that chance. So we sat him. Our linebacker, Noah Fredrickson, the more hits he takes, too, the better chances. He hits pretty hard, so we just want to keep him not hitting hard right now and hitting hard August 26th.
Now, before I let John have you, every year I've covered Mayfield football, there's been a Longo. Is there another Longo on that team?
There's not a Longo on the team, but I just saw a guy with a Longo shirt on right now.
You might recruit him.
Never know.
Oh, that's great. Ross, best of luck this year. I'll be excited to watch you and your team play, and give a big bear hug to my good buddy, Larry Pinto.
Will do, sir.
Danny?
Ross, it's got to be fun to come up. There's so many familiar faces on this coaching staff with you. I know that you're a new head coach, but can you just talk about the continuous? I mean, this is the same guys you've always coached with.
Sure. I'm still the second youngest guy on the staff, so that's a good thing because I'm old now for a coach. Considering a coach, and we have such a great staff. I mean, the last two head coaches are on the staff. Jim Nally is a former basketball coach at the high school. He's on the staff. Dwight Fritz is our freshman head coach. He's a former varsity coach. Ron Succi's on our staff. He's a former coach at Richmond Heights. And then we have some young guys like Ray Paglio's taking over the offense from defense. Mike Verdi's taking over the defense. He worked so closely with Ray Paglio. And then little Mike Pino, Larry's son's on the staff. So we just have great camaraderie with our staff, and feel very confident in what they're doing with the kids, and I think the kids have confidence in them. And these guys have been there before. We've been with this group of guys. We've been in the Final Four twice, the Final Eight once. We've been in the playoffs 7 or 8 times. So I think these guys definitely know what they're doing, and I'm very confident in them.
You told me a story about Mike Barnes one time when you were young in coaching, young in coaching,
yes.
handing you a notebook and saying, go home and write up 10 plays.
Sure.
And now, the next time you run out of the tunnel, it's going to be as the head coach. Are there going to be butterflies, and how far have you come?
I've definitely came far from that day. I really didn't know much about offense when he kind of pulled me aside and said, I want you to kind of be the next guy in this offense. But yeah, I've definitely come far away since then, done a lot of research. It's not easy. I mean, you don't just kind of do it. You have to work at it. So I've done that, and it's going to be a good moment. But, it's about the kids, and I'm just making some decisions, but they're making the plays, and we're putting them in hopefully the right spots to make the plays. And when it's all said and done, these kids make the plays.
I know you're a Brush graduate, but there's no other place you could ever head coach in this, right?
Oh, never. I mean, there's no other place I'd ever want to or even looked at leaving Mayfield for. So this is where my heart is. And
well, Ross, great start. We're at the bottom of the hour, so we got to take a break. We are 1330 AM and 101.5 FM, WINT, Integrity Radio. It's our high school football preview show. These are the Cats, the Wildcats. We'll be right back with the players after this short break. Welcome back to WINT Integrity Radio High School Football Preview Show. I'm Charlie Malta alongside the guru of high school football, John Camp. John, when's the Bible coming out?
Oh, we got it coming out about the 22nd, 23rd, 24th. We got 3 editions coming out.
Oh,
yeah.
We can't wait. I'm excited. Then our next show, which is will be our volleyball preview show next Monday. I can tell people, pick up your News Herald Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Hey,
that's the 22nd, 23rd.
I'm going to give you a spoiler alert. One of our front page stories is on the ascension of Ross Bandera from an assistant coach to where he is now. So, yeah.
Wow. I'm going to get an autographed copy of that.
There you go.
That's
it's worth
keeper.
it.
Ross, all right. You're going to introduce the first player that sits right there, and my good friend John Camp is going to interview him.
Sure. First player that you are going to be talking with is Kyle Ross, offensive lineman, two-way starter at offensive line and defensive line. Kyle's been playing since his sophomore year for us, and we're looking forward to getting him back after a season-ending knee injury last year. But he's ready to roll.
Kyle, talk about just the momentum, the excitement of getting back out there. It's got to be your team made a great run to the playoffs last year, and unfortunately you had the best seats in the house on the sidelines. You got to be fired up for this.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm very excited for the team and everyone. Our senior year, you want to go out with a bang. Just got to make sure everyone's working hard and stuff like that to get to our goal.
Can you talk about the bringing in Coach Bandera? It's nothing new. You know Ross very well. How good is it to see him have the opportunity, and how much belief do you have in that guy who's been with you all along?
Oh, I believe in him 100%, and it's like every day is just like the same thing. There's pretty much no change up in our coaching staff. Like there is, but it feels like the same thing as always, and that's a really good thing.
The Western Reserve Conference, boy, I tell you what, there's no break there, is there?
No, not at all.
You talk about what your thoughts are in that league and where you think you guys can fit in this year.
It's gonna be a great season with teams like Chardon, their powerhouse. Go over to their place, and I'm very excited for that game. Teams like Madison and Brush, our rivals. I'm very excited for that.
Next up is
Izzy Watson, defensive end, outside linebacker. Izzy's got two offers to Youngstown State and St. Francis University. So we're looking for big things out of Izzy. He's a great pass rusher off the edge, and he's very athletic in space too.
They have the best name we've heard yet tonight.
Izzy Watson.
I interviewed him last year as a junior, and I mean, he's easily more cerebral than I am. I mean, this tremendous speaker. But Izzy, I think you're probably about 10 or 15 pounds heavier of muscle this year, and now they're going to flex you out a little bit, let you do a little coverage along with that pass rushing. How do you like that dual threat of rushing the passer or maybe dropping into coverage?
I think it lets me use my athletic ability a little more. I mean, last year they had me on the line, hand down, so. And I was going up against 300-pound dudes and trying to stick them up, but sometimes they get the best of me. So now when I'm out in space, I have a two-way go on some of these guys, and I'm ready for the year.
When you're going against guys to eat things as big as you, like you did last year, this year you put on like 15 pounds. How much does having a little bit more weight help when you do go against those guys?
I mean, from the scrimmage a couple days ago, it showed me that I can use more of my muscle on the tackles if I'm going up against them. Set them up with some speed every once in a while. But then come right back with the bull rush, and it's finally started to work. I couldn't use the bull rush that much last year, so I didn't have the extra necessary weight on my body. So we're getting there.
You told me something the other day that I still can't wrap my head around. You told me that you might like working out in the weight room more than you like football itself. I mean, are you serious?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just feel like more amped sometimes. But, I mean, the big hits, they amp me up a little bit too. So,
Next up.
Michael Canganelli, senior, 3-year starter at running back for us. Well, him and Andy Isabella showed the load of sophomore year, but Michael scored some key touchdowns in big playoff games of sophomore year and, had a tremendous year last year. We lost him in the last game of the season against Hudson, so we wish we can have that one back, but hopefully we get another chance this year. But all these guys are captains, by the way, and they're just great leaders for our program.
We just talked to your teammate a few minutes ago about missing out on something that had to be excruciating, standing on the sidelines. That's kind of helpless when you can't help.
Yeah, it was tough that last game. Going into the game, I wasn't healthy at all, but I tried to stick it out. I was trying to play through it, but it was just too much, and it was tough. It was a tough game for me.
There have been tremendous quarterbacks over at Mayfield last couple years. Mario was there. Even before him, there's always been a quarterback, but there's always been that dude that carries the ball and gets 1,000 yards. What are your thoughts on being that guy in line this year to do that?
I'm really excited. Last year I had a pretty good year, and I'm hoping to do the same thing this year, or better. I'm ready to go this year.
Is there a little bit more pressure on you because there might not be a Mario back there throwing around? Gage and Luke and Jack and those guys have all graduated. I mean, teams are going to game plan for Michael Canganelli.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I'm just ready to go. No big deal. No.
What do you think this team can be this year? I know you graduated a good senior class, but tradition doesn't die over there at Mayfield.
This senior class is great. We got a lot of leaders on this team. We're helping out the young kids, so getting them ready for varsity, we're really excited about it.
Next up, we have the old savvy vet, Jason Hughes, who is an outside linebacker. He'll call himself a safety, but he's pretty much an outside linebacker and like a H-back for us. Does a lot of motion, a lot of blocking, a lot of coming out of the backfield, stuff like that. And Jason's a great leader for us as well.
Jason, what would you rather be known as, the outside linebacker or the safety?
Safety all the way. I sound more athletic that way.
Okay, now, what happens if the ball gets thrown on you in the first game? There's not some pressure now. You got to catch it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we take on that stuff all the same. We practice it. I'm not too worried. I like when the ball's coming my way, so I'll be good.
There's one thing I've always noticed about Mayfield's defense. They might not always have the biggest dudes in the world, but you know what? They're going to stick their nose in there and really get after it. Can you talk about the tenacity, the pride that goes with this Mayfield defense?
I mean, that's what we build ourselves off of, is we play with the chip on our shoulders, knowing we're not the biggest guys out there, but we like to play as the hardest guys out there, think that we're the toughest guys out there, and that's something that Mayfield's built off of, and that's something that we talk culture. It's something that we've always done.
The Western Reserve Conference, that's big boy territory there. I mean, you got to come every week. Talk about the race and some of these teams you're going to face.
Well, I mean, at Mayfield, we're used to playing every week. We don't schedule a team against a team that's not great competition. So we're used to bringing it every week, and we want to make a run for it like anyone else. We step on the field to win, and we're not going to turn it over to anyone else.
Great. And last but not least, Ross?
Definitely last but not least, Columbia football recruit.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Very big time. Very proud of this kid. Bailey Rotsky works extremely hard in the classroom and is basically another coach on the football field. I would imagine he was watching film at a very early age in his life. So, he's become another coach on the field for us, and he's an extension of Coach Verdi on the defense, which is huge, and he knows exactly where to go on offense at all times, and he plays 100% at all times. I mean, he's really, really a great leader for us.
Bailey, welcome to the show again. You didn't get a chance to speak when you were in second or third grade when you were running around.
I remember
the
coming to this show.
Yeah, but your dad brought to the show. He brought you to the show. Now, was it you the one that was wearing the shirt the other day? He was telling me last year, or do you have a
Yeah. I
he
saw
said
the shirt
the day you had a Mondays with Malta shirt on. Just put it on the day I got a hold of Coach, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Bailey, you sure have grown up, and congratulations on what you've accomplished.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Go ahead.
Tremendous year last year, first of all. I mean, both on offense and on defense, you're a very cerebral player. This year, how have things changed? Because with Gage and Luke graduating, Jack graduating, so now maybe there's a little bit more focus on what Bailey Rotsky can do on the field.
Yeah, I mean, being the only receiver returning, I mean, Michael's always getting the ball a lot back there, and I know he's going to have a lot more just on his shoulders, just keeping the offense going. But, I mean, I'm going to take that role just being the receiver coming back, just trying to make the most of it and just help our younger quarterbacks out. So,
not only just the quarterbacks, but you've got to be a little bit of a teacher and a role model for these younger receivers, too.
Yeah, definitely. I just try to both vocally and physically just always trying to set a good example for them, trying to teach them, because some of the younger guys not as much experience, so just always trying to teach them all along the way.
How good does it feel to know that your future's already intact? You're going to have a diploma from an Ivy League school. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great feeling, but, I mean, I just try not to think about it too much now. Just try to play with all these guys. I've been playing with them since we were 7 years old, so, I mean, it's a little bit bittersweet. I mean, it's cool just because we've been playing together for so long, but, I mean, it's our last time together, so we're just going to try to make the most of it.
How important is it to just live by the moment? Everybody's so eager to grow up, move on to the next level. But like you said, all you guys have been on the same football field since you were 7 years old, and you know what? When that last buzzer rings, that's it. It's never going to happen again. So talk about the importance of smelling the roses while you're there.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I think about it a lot. I mean, just because we've been playing this game together just for so long. It's been such a big part of our lives for years and years. So, I mean, just trying to, I mean, like some of the dog days of practice, 95-degree heat on the turf. It's like 115, 120, And, I mean, it's not the best of times all the time, but you just try to enjoy it as much as you can. I mean, just enjoy the worst of times and the best of times. Just try to take it all in and just enjoy it as much as possible.
Well, Russ, thank you very much for bringing everybody out. We appreciate it. Best of luck this year.
Thank you. Thanks for having us, guys.
And we're going to hear from your cheerleaders. Jay, let the Mayfield cheerleaders hit it.
You've ever seen, the one, the only, Big Green.
All right. Thanks, Ross. Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, man.
Bailey.
Good seeing you, buddy. Nice to see you. Good luck to you.
Good to see you again. Next up, John Story and BASJ. The girls are going to line up. The girls are coached by Samantha Napaver. I hope I said that right.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. We'll see you at the competition. Can't wait. Thank you. September 2nd? Okay. Okay, maybe I will. It's a Friday night, too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That was outstanding. Next up, BASJ.
I guess so.
Nice meeting you. Very classy family.
You want the mic? Sure.
After the cheer.
All right.
Hello, test.
After the cheer. And we've got John Story here. John, you going to put that headphone on? Wow. Last time I seen Bailey was, like I said, second grade.
Okay, Mayfield, please.
Mayfield is scooting out of here, and VASJ is about ready to come on. VASJ coached again by
All right,
Samantha
VASJ cheerleaders, you ready? Give it your best shot, girls. Let's go.
You can leave the mic there, Jay. Go ahead.
Go! Four, go! Vikings, stand up, move around, follow the beat, it's time to get down, yo, go! Big Blue, yell it, go! Big Blue! Vikings, stand up, move around, follow the beat, it's time to get down, yo, go! Four, go! Come on, go! Four, go! Go! Big Blue, go! Four, go! Again, go! Big Blue, go! Four, go!
That's a great job.
All right, stick around.
All right,
You're going
now-
to have one more cheer at the end of the
Well,
segment.
we know, they know,
but
they know.
got a
We got something here
presentation here.
for a really good friend of ours.
And this is for Ray Malavic. Let's
This is
hear it for Ray.
Ray Malavic. He's been doing this for a lot of years. Ray, everybody here tonight has signed that for you.
Oh, man.
They appreciate everything you've done over the years, buddy.
Thank you, Ray, for everything you've done, and that's a little memento just for you.
God bless all of you that signed. God bless all of you.
He has touched so many lives in this area.
He has, and he's going to pull through. Ray's going to pull through with a lot of prayers.
He's got this.
And it gives us great pleasure to hit from one Viking to the next. Go ahead, Ray. You introduce John Story. Nobody better than you.
Well, I don't know the numbers. I know they're all successful. As a wrestling coach, as a football coach, all I know, when I roamed the halls of St. Joseph High School with this young man right there, Coach Story was roaming those halls too. And I'll tell you, it's so great to see you. Better to see you on Sunday when we're walking out of Mass.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
There he is. John Story, Bill Angelo, St. Joseph.
Welcome to the show. We appreciate you being here tonight. Tell us a little bit about your team, the Vikings. Young, old, experienced, not as experienced. Tell us a little bit about them.
Well, I think we graduated an outstanding group of seniors last year. We're going to be very young on the offense and defensive lines. Our skill guys are pretty experienced. They've been playing 2 or 3 years. So we've got to develop our offense and defensive lines. Are going to be key for us.
Names in the backfield this year?
Audrey Shabazz at quarterback, Jerry Higgins at tailback, Malik Callaway at fullback. Wideouts are Danny McGarry and Nate Dean, who have experience from last year. So that's the nucleus of the offensive backfield.
What a super athlete Gene Higgins is.
He's fun to watch, Coach. That's for sure. He's fun to watch.
I got to see him in middle school, and I think in 8th grade, every time he touched the ball, he scored a touchdown. I swear. It seemed that way.
Well, he's an outstanding talent, and he's tremendous in the classroom also. So he's got a great future ahead of him.
And a great personality. You know, I was at the middle school when Jerry was there. Football field, basketball court. Probably do something in the spring, I'm sure. And the bottom line is just a nice kid. Respectful, with a lot of God-given talent. Takes coaching well. And I look for him to have just a banner season this year for you guys.
Coach, the rest of your staff?
John Kramer will be our OC, and Jimmy Well will be doing the line. Tommy Kander with the wideouts. Tom Kenny is with us with the running backs. Tommy Gallucci on the defensive side. And Greg Lead will be helping us also on defense. The younger kids will be handled by Kevin Mullen and Phil Wellington, who wrestled and played football for us.
Phil's back, that's great.
Yep, he's back. And then Daryl Jones, who played for us a couple years ago, graduated from BW. He's back helping us also.
John?
Coach, you talked about Jerry. Obviously, there's going to be probably 11 defenders and a couple coordinators in the box to stop him. Can you talk about the maturation? How good was last year for Shabazz, and what he can be to this program offense to loosen things up to get Jerry some space?
Well, I think it was a great learning year for Audrey, and it's so hard to replace that in practice. The best teacher is obviously the game situations. He's had a great summer, throwing the ball well. So I look for our wideouts to. They're both outstanding players, and if Audrey can get that ball delivered and open things up, Jerry should do very well. But it all comes down to the front five. They're the heartbeat of the offense, and they've got to gel quickly because we're 2 weeks out.
The early returns, people have told me that your offenses look very electric in the preseason so far. The defense, you got to slow some people down, obviously. Who are some of the names we can look at on the defense side of the ball to make some plays for you?
Well, we're looking at Mason Alexander, a returning inside linebacker, and we've got Devontae Glover at the one end, and Malik Callaway. They're both, maybe 175, 185 pounds. Very quick, good with their hands, so they'll be paramount for us. Inside will be the big guys at 290 and 280, Brandon Burke and Pat Sheridan and Matt Villegas and Nicky Follett. So we have some big folks inside.
The NCL White's always a really good battle. You had a great game last year with JFK. Aquinas is always there. Trinity. Can you talk about what is brought in front of you guys each week with that group?
Well, in the white division, we're all the same size pretty much. School population, and our numbers are pretty similar. So it's a very competitive situation. Every week is whatever team makes the least amount of mistakes or makes the big plays, 2 or 3 big plays, is going to be the difference in the game. And that's what it was for us last year.
Coach, last year's record was?
6-4.
6-4. You're before playoffs.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sure that's a goal in all Vikings' minds right now, but you got to get that first one and that second one. So,
right.
Who do you open up with?
We open up with the University School.
At US?
Yeah, we'll be at Euclid on the 27th, 7 o'clock.
Wonderful.
So, yeah, that'll be a challenge for us. Division III school, and I've seen them once already in the scrimmages.
They still like to throw it around.
They sure do.
Okay.
I tell you what, Ben always is like that. So, got an outstanding quarterback. They have a couple guys who catch it. Outstanding running back. And once again, it's just the maturation of the lines. So how quickly our D-line can get things under control.
Well, it's not this week. You got one more good tune-up.
Yes, we'll be at Painesville Harvey this Friday.
That'll be a good one, yeah.
Painesville Harvey. So
excellent, Coach. Excellent.
Wow, that's fantastic. John, it's always great to have you here and being part of this show. We go back a long way, and I know you and Ray even go back a lot longer. But we really, really appreciate it. And I would think you have a shot at the playoffs. Is that how you feel this year?
We got to get the first game.
Let's get past the first game.
Yeah.
All right, the Viking cheerleaders are going to end our program here as we got a few minutes extra. We'll talk before John leaves. And here they are. Thank you very, very much, girls. We'll see them at our competition on September 26th. John Stoney, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chuck. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ray.
Good seeing you,
God
Coach.
bless.
Well, John, what a great night.
Oh, tremendous. I love getting around, talking to players and coaches. It's just exciting. Now I wish that August 26th was tomorrow. I'm ready to roll. I don't have to play. I don't have to be in good shape, thank goodness. I'm ready for football season to start.
Ray, normally we keep you for 2 hours. You lasted 2.5. You did good.
Well, that's because of the man upstairs, believe me. But I enjoyed myself. I want to thank you. You did it again. You got them all in.
Wow.
With a few minutes to spare.
7 schools, 7 coaches, coordinators, cheerleaders, captains. It's been a great night here.
Oh, boy.
And John, we didn't have Kirtland, but we're going to do Kirtland in 2-3 weeks at the our good friend Jay Crone's aunt and uncle's Kirtland City Tavern. I did it that way because there were just too many, and not being able to get enough in at the. But they're state champs, and we definitely will be having Kirtland down the road for the listeners that are listening tonight. John, aside from them, any sleepers out there that we didn't have tonight that has aspirations for playoffs? Maybe Perry.
I think Perry does. Yeah, you look at their skill set. It's tremendous for a Division IV team. You know, Colston Brewster, he's a first-year quarterback, but he's like 6'3", 195 pounds, throws it around real well. And then you've got Andy Foley, a 6'2" receiver, who can really, really go up and get it. I mean, he's a Division I high school player and playing in Division IV. He's tremendous. Jacob Allen, a very underrated, unsung, unknown right now, sophomore receiver. And, of course, Josh Petroselli, the running back, who also had 8 picks last year. I mean, just a tremendous. I like Perry's skill set a lot, and if I had to pick the winner of the CVC Chagrin, that's who I'd pick.
You know, I got to see Josh at Jeremy Cook's graduation party, and he was on crutches, and I go, Josh, you're going to be okay. He said, you better believe I will. And
he came back to practice this week, or last week. He had the MCL surgery, but he's back in the fold now. Seth Smith, their one linebacker, has had a broken foot, and he had surgery to fix that. He had a screw in it that was kind of faulty. But he will miss the first game, I'm told, the Riverside game. But Seth will be back, that linebacker fullback. He'll help a lot. He's a Madison transfer.
And speaking of Madison, what do you think about them this year?
You know, it's a different type of team. You're used to seeing 300-pounders across the board. They're not quite that big. You're used to seeing Nick Law had to have 8 years of high school eligibility. I mean, he was just a tremendous athlete over. He and Primer, even the year before that, Ricky Simsick. It's going to be different. I love that front seven. They've got 2 6'5" defensive ends with Josh Ferry and Mark Primer. Yeah, there's another Primer coming. Yeah. I like that team an awful lot. I think that they're going to be right there. Truthfully, the heavy favorite in the WRC is Chardon. My God, are they good. But I think Madison's going to be very reluctant to give up that WRC championship they won last year.
Wow. And I told you we're doing Kirtland. They graduated quite a bit. Reload, what do you think?
Oh, by all means, yeah. They're young in name only. I mean, they graduated all but one.
80 kids out?
80 kids out, and they're ginormous. I mean, they came out the other day in a scrimmage with two 280-pounders on the line, a couple 230-pounders, and they came out in the stack I, and it was like watching a team go down the field with a sledgehammer. I mean, they're so big, and they got 2 very good quarterbacks. I think Dylan Folco is the guy right now, but Mike Zulli, who came in from Menor, moved from Menor this year, he's going to be right there. And they got 7 starters back on the defense. As good as that offense is, they've got 7 starters back on the defense that won a state championship. So, yeah, hold on tight, folks. They're good.
Riverside,
you know what? They're going to be better than people think. I really like those 2 running backs, Austin Van Pelt and Josh Graffa, not Chad. Josh Graffa. They're better than people give them credit for. C.J. Cantrell came back from Lake Catholic this year. So you've got Cantrell and James Fitzgerald that are both about 240 pounds on the right side of that line. I think that they're going to really be able to push some people around there. Nathan Sleek, the junior quarterback. I mean, you're never going to replace Nick Fitzgerald. I mean, he was just a filthy, filthy athlete. He was playing receiver over at Lake Erie College. But Sleek's going to be there. I tell you what, he's going to make some plays. Riverside, you can't sleep on him. You look at last year, they played a game where they combined 114 points with South. So, I mean, that team's explosive.
And the big boys, St. Iggy and Ed's, anybody that you feel might be a little bit better than the other one? And down south, is it St. X again?
I think X is really good this year. Colerane's really good. Those are the 2 teams that you'd look for probably out of there. As an Ignatius, I mean, they're always right there, right next to each other. I'm never going to count out a Chuck Kyle team. I think that they wanted to tighten up that defense. They could score last year, but they gave up some points. I think it's going to be a heck of a game at the end of the season, and boy, I wouldn't want to bet on who's going to win.
How about anybody in Columbus?
Waterson. Yeah, look at Columbus Waterson, a really good team. They got Urban Meyer's son, Nate's a receiver down there.
For Waterson?
Yeah, for Waterson. I talked to someone the other day, and they said that Coldwater's actually a little down. But Coldwater's down they only win the state championship by 15 points and not 30.
Exactly.
You know, it's I heard that for the Fort Recovery's real good out there in the MAC, and you know who's just really filthy, and I think we're going to see a very good chance of a rematch this year, is Maria Stein Marion Local. I mean,
Wow.
they got to be itching at it because they gave up that lead to Kirtland last year, so we might see a rematch.
Wow.
And John, as we all know, there's always someone out there that we don't know about.
Oh, always, yeah.
But they show up.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden.
Well, I tell you what, you look at Division III and Akron-Hobin, I mean, they are whipping on some people right now. You know, they got that.
And Benny's going to be good, obviously.
Benny's going to be real good. You know, I had a real good talk yesterday down at Sunday down at Ohio State with, it was yesterday, with Jerome Baker, and talking about DeCavalon Reese stepping up into that role as being a leader now on this team. So, yeah, any team that's got DeCavalon Reese in the backfield, they're going to be pretty good.
Well, I hear the music. I just wanted to make sure I thank Jay Batung. Thanks for running around like a chicken without your head. We appreciate it. He's always here for us. Raymond, you did it. Thank you very much. Next week, we'll be at the Stadium Grill for our volleyball preview. We'll have John O'Donnell with us. And I'm excited. Football's here right around the corner. A week from Thursday's the East Lake North Hall of Fame. And we're so very, very lucky to be invited to that, Ray. And I'll pick you up and we'll make sure we go. Well, this is WINT, 1330 AM, 101.5 on the FM. We are Integrity Radio. Thank you for all being a part of this here tonight as we had a great time at the Happy Moose. Good night for now.